welcome. Good morning. Garrett, what's up, my friend? Good morning, buddy. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. We got a little poll going on. Can this kid win 2 in a row? Can he do it? I think it's a semi-weak field this week, right? No Scheffler. That helps. That helps his cause. Again, the field isn't that strong, in my opinion. Obviously, they're great players, but I don't see Rory McIlroy's name in there. So there's 2 bullets he can dodge. Wyndham Clark, Keegan Bradley. I don't know. I think he can do it. It would be great for the game. And then I think there's one more event than the playoffs, or is this the last one? I think there's one more. Let me just confirm that. Let's confirm it, my friend. Wyndham Championship, then the playoffs. Yes. So they don't have to sign up for the Wyndham until Friday at 5 o'clock. So we won't know the full field till then. They don't usually put it out till then. But I don't think either one of those 2 is playing in this Wyndham Championship. Scheffler, McIlroy. So I don't know. I think the kid can pull it off. We're going to be here for it. We're going to be here for it. I know some Mills Country. Oh, I have not, my friend. I used to know Billy Joe Patton way back in the 80s. Him and a guy named, what's his name? They were members at the Jupiter Island Club where I worked at. Oh, what's his name? He was a big USGA guy. He was friends with him. He used to play there all the time. Oh, I can see his face. I got to look it up. I'm so old. I can't remember everything, but I remember Billy Joe Patton and this other guy, USGA. The guy was old as, in the night when I worked there in the late 80s, 90s, the guy was old. I can't think of his name. It's driving me crazy. Billy Joe Patton. I'll put Billy Joe Patton. If I say the name, you'll know it. I just can't remember it. It might be alongside Billy Joe was a lumber salesman. He died in 2011. I'll find it. Unfortunately. What year did he win? He played in 5 Walker Cup teams. Holy shit. He never won the U.S. Amateur. I love looking up stuff like this, buddy. So Morgantown? Okay. Morganton. Morganton? Are you going to the Wyndham? Oh, you live down there. Nice. If you go into the Wyndham, get me some pictures. Get Coyvin's picture video for me. I need a closer up one. I'm going to find this guy's name because it's driving me nuts. I played a lot with this guy too. I played with the Bushes, remember there, George, the old one was, but George W., Billy Bush, the guy from Hot Mike's. I played with him. This is back in the late 80s, early 90s. But it's driving me nuts. I can't find this guy's name. This guy was, because Jupiter Island is a blue blood, rich billionaires club, money, the old money club, one of those places. It's like Seminole. It's a sister club of Seminole, which I got to play a million times, which was great. I'm trying to find it. Did he win it? Oh, it's driving me nuts. I'll find it. I don't think he won it. Jack Nicklaus, Herbert Robin, Dean Beeman, Bill Campbell. Found it. William C. Campbell. That's the guy. William C. Campbell. Bill Campbell. He beat Edgar Tutwiler at Canterbury Country Club in Cleveland, Ohio, 1964. This guy, Bill Campbell, he played a lot with Billy Joe and Vinnie Giles. These guys were all down there. It was awesome. Seminole. It was great. Learned a lot from these guys. Jack Nicklaus, obviously. Lee Trevino, we learned from. Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, Bill Campbell. I don't know how he made his money, but he won the U.S. Amateur. I didn't know he won it. At the time, he probably told me, but I was a young punk and probably didn't care. The Masters, that a boy. I'd go down, but I can only get myself in. You know, I can't go. I can't get anyone else in. But hey, if you're going, I'll meet you down there. I don't want to go by myself. I can get in, but I just can't get. They won't even let me bring my wife in. You know, you going to play some golf, kid? Good. Let me know how you do. Campbell, yeah, Bill Campbell. We had so much fun there. Yeah, I remember Billy Joe Patton, absolutely, and there was others too. I'll think of their names. You know, they're all USGA guys. Fred Ridley was there. Seminole. I played Seminole 100 times, probably, maybe more. Everglades Club in Palm Beach, unbelievable golf course. When you get in that loop, are those private club loops like Shinnecock and Maidstone and uh, Deepdale, Rockaway Hunt Club, Seminole, Everglades, Jupiter Hills, Jupiter Island. Oh, it was awesome. I had the world by the sack, brother. Brooklawn in Fairfield, Connecticut. Um, Country Club of Fairfield, just amazing golf courses. Century Club, Old Oaks. That's where I did the U.S. Open qualifiers. Just great golf courses. Just so lucky to play all these nice courses, man. You know, East Point, absolutely, absolutely. They got like 3 or 4 courses there. Is that the one? It's in Palm Beach area. If that's the same one, I'd have yes. A friend of mine was a caddy for Joe Stewart Appleby. Joe Damiano, I think. Joe Damiano, his name was. He used to work at East Point. Yeah, 2 courses. Yeah, East Point. So I lived in Jupiter for 20 winters. I didn't stay in the summertime. I got out of there, but that's where I wintered, I guess. Yeah, Palm Beach. Yeah, definitely played there. Yeah, Joe Damiano caddy for Stuart Appleby for 12, 15 years. 20 years ago. But yeah, he used to work at East Point. Jewish club, I think, right? No? I worked at Jupiter Hills, Jupiter Island, Everglades, the President Country Club in West Palm, which is now Hammock Bay or something. They changed it. Banyan Golf Club. I worked there back in the early 80s. A lot of fun down there, my friends. A lot of fun. Oh, nice. At East Point? Nice. Yeah. Well, let me know if you get down there. My buddy works at that park, the new park, West Palm Beach. It's amazing there. I might be able to hook you up. Maybe not, but we'll see. Maybe he can get you on there or something. the park. It's just new. It has like night golf, 9 holes of par 3 course, 18 regulation championship course, great drive range, just a great place. Used to be the old West Palm Beach Country Club, but someone bought it and changed. Oh, that's funny. Bill Campbell. Yeah, it brings back memories. Brings back memories. I wonder what he did for money. I got to see what he did for money, because you have to have money to be playing down there, unless he was just America's guest. He could have been America's guest. You know what I mean? They just loved him because he was a good player. Was he? Yeah. He was on 5 Walker Cup teams. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see what my boy Billy Campbell did. He died in 2013. Wow, that's him right there. Shit. And there was a couple other guys. Remsen, I think it was called. There was two brothers. One of them was a great player. Dick Remsen, his name was. This is at Jupiter Island. His brother, not so much, but he was a great player too. We used to play with. Oh, it was so good. It was just I didn't realize how good I had it at the time when I was 21. You know, didn't realize how good I had it. Bill Campbell did not want to play professionally. He's ran family Huntington insurance firm for close to 60 years, West Virginia state legislature, and sat on numerous corporate boards. Campbell played 37 U.S. amateurs, 33 consecutive, 1941 to 1977. See, we didn't have internet in 1988. We didn't know all this. I wish I'd known this, you know? British amateur, Canadian amateur runner-up. He won 3 West Virginia Opens, 4 North and South amateurs, 15 West Virginia amateurs, U.S. senior amateur. Fuck. Finished second in the 1980 Senior Open as an amateur. He played in 19 Masters. Holy shit. I wish I had known that, man. I didn't know. You know what I mean? We just played golf. I knew he was a good player. But back then, how old was he when I knew him? When was he born? So, yeah, he was like 70 when I knew him. And he could still play, you know? But I didn't know he won 15 U.S. West Virginia amateurs. 15? Jesus. He won the Bobby Jones Award, World Golf Hall of Fame, 1990. Holy shit. I was in the companies of legends. Well, again, we had Lee Trevino there, and Jack played there, and Norman played there, and Don Bees, Olin Brown, George Burns. I could name 50 of them that all hung out there and played with us. It was amazing. I was so lucky. I learned so much from Norman and Trevino. That's how I played, Trevino, push cuts, and learned so much from these guys, playing golf with them 3 days a week. One of them, you know what I mean? God, I miss it. I do know Dwayne, yes. Oh, is he? Oh, wow. Oh, cool. Yeah, he can hit it pretty good, I think, right? A lot of these caddies are players at one point, you know? Yeah, Dwayne Cat. Who was he caddy? Did he caddy for Kiz? I think at one point. I think that's when I knew him with Kiz. I think it was Kiz. Did he really? Dwayne or yeah, he did caddy for Kid. Dwayne or Campbell. Campbell won the North and South. 4. He won it 4 times. Not once. Man, see, this is what sucked. Dwayne did. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I knew he could play. It's a fine line between that and playing pro, man. And it seems like Bill Campbell did the right thing. Just he was a professional amateur, you know? That's great. That's like what's his name's old caddy. I don't know, I can't think of his name right now. I know the guy. Zach Johnson's caddy was a pretty good player. He played in some senior amateur event, PGA Tour events. Last Call Lance Tenbrock. Spent many a times with Last Call Lance. They didn't call me Last Call Tom, but they could have. Last Call Lance caddied and played in the same tournament when he was caddying for Jesper Parnevik. Caddied in the morning, played in the afternoon, and beat Jesper in the afternoon, playing with Jesper's clubs. Imagine that. I think it was like 71-72 or something. Last Call Lance Tenbrock. Yeah, he could stripe it, bro. That's what we need, my friend. Yeah. Oh, I had such a good. I really didn't realize how good I had it at the time. And if we had internet and stuff, it would have been way different. I'm playing with Trevino, getting him coffee and hanging out on the range with him like nothing. Didn't even real. I mean, I learned a lot. It was great, but there was so many pros hanging out there. It was awesome. Awesome. And guys you never heard of. Well, George Burns, he won a couple times. And Olin Brown. There's obviously way more, but he won the Eastern Interscholastic Champion 4 times. Tam O'Shanter World Amateur. Jesus. He won 32 amateur events. Wow. North and South. 1950, he won the West Virginia Open, North and South Amateur, and the West Virginia Amateur. And the Open's playing pros against pros. And there was probably good pros in it back. I'm sure Sam Snead was in that. Right? What year did he win that? Yeah, Sam Snead won the West Virginia Open. Ed Tutwiler, the guy, Will Campbell, Guyan Country, Guyan, Guyan Country Club, Huntington. Bill Campbell, Ed Tutwiler was second. Bill Campbell won it again. He beat Sam Snead by 4 shots. Is that right? Well, yeah, by 4 shots. Sam Snead second. Imagine that. Smart move, though. You get in the insurance business. That's what I told my kid. My kid was pretty good, high school. I said, just get a real job. He was no Miles Russell, but the guy could shoot 65. The kid's pretty good. But so just get a real job, buddy, because I tried it and I couldn't do it. Oh, wow. Wow. 1954, Joe Taylor won the West Virginia Open. Bill Campbell won it 3 times. 1949, Sam Snead won, then Bill Campbell, then Ed Tutwiler, Sam Snead, Bill Campbell. Jesus. Sam Snead won it 100 times. 12 shots, 11 shots. Wow, small world, buddy. That's what golf is. That's why golf is so cool. That's why I'm doing this channel too, for just things like this. And it's just great. This is great. I love it. Yeah, again, back and then, young kid, didn't know what I had going on and just hanging around this legend. I mean, I know Lee Trevino was and Jack Nicklaus, obviously, but Bill Campbell, I didn't know he was that good. He didn't even talk about it. I knew he won the U.S. Amateur, but I didn't know he won all these tournaments. And he was a Walker Cupper and legend. He's in the World Golf Hall of Fame. Didn't even know it, and just eating lunch with him, having a BLT on the patio. Just thought he was another guy. Humble guy, too. He didn't say much. I mean, he helped us with our golf and stuff. He definitely helped the golf swing and how to think, but he didn't say, "Oh, I won this and that." He didn't, because I would have known that. I knew he won the amateur, but playing 33 U.S. amateurs, that's pretty good. Wow. Love it, kid. Love it. Did he really? I love it. John Daly. John Daly. That's tough. John Daly, whenever John Daly would pull out an iron, everyone would boo him. Boo. Hit the driver. Wow, that's funny. I'm glad we brought this up. We're going to get some rain up here in north of Boston here in a few minutes, folks. Let me look at my radar real quick. There's these bird feeders out there. My wife likes the birds, the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. What's the one? The Orioles. We don't see many of them, but they come out and eat them. But these turkeys are like knocking them down. These turkeys come out of the woods over there and they knock the seed down. I mean, I don't mind turkeys having a couple here and there, but that shit's expensive. It's just all over the ground. Nope, I didn't look at the radar. Oh, wow. I love it. No, I love it. I'm all for pounding your driver. You know, obviously, if you got to hit it 400 to clear the water, don't do the driver. I get that. But I hit my driver everywhere, too. I loved it. And I was good at the driver. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved my driver. Because it's an advantage. I was a longer hitter. Get it out there. Par fives with par fours. Pound it. Get up there as close as you can. Oh, that's funny. Funny, funny, funny. A good funny. Funny as in, I'm freezing. Turn this off for a couple minutes. Get some real air here. Hold on. There we go. What do we got on TV here? So yeah, I think the Coiven fella's gonna. I think he's gonna do well and just ride it into this week and win it. I don't know what the course is like there, but love to see him win it. Yeah, that's amazing. Bill Campbell, William C. He must have made a lot of money in the insurance business, or he came from money. Because to join those clubs down there, you got to. Back in the day, now it's different with the athletes, and it was a old wasp money. The guy that invented Coca-Cola lived on the 12th hole or something, you know. Literally, the guy that invented Coca-Cola, he's probably 100. he was there. Crazy, crazy money down there. Did he play in the British Open? Captain. He was captain of the Royal and Ancient at St. Andrews. That I remember. I didn't know what the hell that meant. He was the captain of the RNA. That's amazing. Wow. I played golf with this guy 500 times, probably. And I worked here for 8 years. I played with him on the range with this guy, never knowing this is this much of a legend. Jesus. He won the Old Tom Morris Award, World Golf Hall of Fame, Bobby Jones Award, USGA's highest honor. Jesus Christ. And he beat the fellow West Virginian, Ed Tutwiler, in the U.S. Amateur. Because they both played in the West Virginia Open and Amateur against each other. That's crazy. They must have had a good battle. That's amazing. This guy, Bill Campbell, guys, a guy that when I worked at a club in Florida, a member there, legend in the amateur golf in the United States, and apparently overseas too in the R&A. Bill Campbell. What a legend. Jesus. He made it to 90. William Kamek Campbell. Cam was born in Huntington, West Virginia. Graduated from the Phillips Exeter. That's up here, Phillips Exeter. That's a private school. So he had money. He was born into money, no doubt. Because that Phillips Exeter is $100,000 a year for high school. Big money. Phillips Exeter is in right up the street. Exeter, New Hampshire, right up the road. There's one in Massachusetts too. In Andover, Mass, not too far from where I live. So he went from West Virginia to Phillips Exeter, which is again super expensive. Maybe not back then, but it's still a private boarding school. He went to Princeton. He was in the U.S. Army in World War II. Jesus. He was a swimming star at Princeton, golf and swimming. Wow. West Virginia State Legislature. I feel like a bum. I've never done anything. This guy did everything. He's runner-up in the British Amateur, 3 times runner-up the Canadian Amateur. He won 3 West Virginia Opens, 4 North and South Amateurs, 15 West Virginia Amateurs, U.S. Senior Amateur, 79 and 80. Finished second in the U.S. Senior Open in 80. Qualified for 19 Masters. Played in 18 of them. He missed one for some reason. 15 U.S. Opens. Man. What a career. He made the cut in the Masters. Bunch of cuts. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cuts he made. That's pretty good. U.S. Open, not so much. 2 cuts. Couldn't play in the PGA because the PGA is for professionals only. Never played in the British Open, nor the PGA, of course, because he wasn't eligible as an amateur. So he's eligible for the British Open. He probably just couldn't get over there. Back then, you had to take like a yacht, a steamship, or something like Titanic. I wouldn't go either. Wow. I wonder why he didn't play in the British Open. He was the president of the R&A. That's pretty cool. And I knew this guy. Played a lot of golf with him, but he was 70 when I knew him. Huh. Well, isn't that a fun fact for the day, folks? Fun fact for the day. We got your basic Rocket Mortgage Rocket Championship coming up this week. Will Campbell. Will our boy Jackson Coyven win back-to-back? Can it happen? Can he do it? What time is he playing? 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Who's he playing with? He's going off number 10 with Wyndham Clark and Keegan Bradley. So he just moved up into the big leagues. So as a former winner or a winner, former winner, obviously, you get in a different category with tee times. You're just a schmo. You go last. You play with other schmoes. You don't get the good tee times. You don't get the good players. Now he's got two major winners he's playing with tomorrow. Jumped right up into the big leagues. You know, so if you go to look at the last guys teeing off, they're going to be Monday qualifiers: Patrick Wilkes, Kyler, Free Kang, John Vanderlaan. The best players don't go last, ever. Always Monday qualifiers, sponsors exemptions. And then they try to get him out on Friday. So the better players will go off 10 earlier Friday and then later off 1 on TV time on Friday afternoons. Most people are watching Friday afternoons, not Thursdays. And then they go by score, obviously, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But they definitely put major winners together, tour winners together, stuff like that. Top amateur, they might put up there with someone big once in a while, but they're not going to put Patrick Wilkes Creer out with Rory and Scheffler. It's just not going to happen. But Jackson has moved up. I don't know who he played with last week in the first 2 rounds, but it's a respect thing they do for these players. And again, the crowd doesn't want to watch a Monday qualifier play on Friday afternoon, TV wise. It is about ratings. It is about ratings. But if anyone, if he's going to win a tournament, this is the one he can win. Schauffele, Fowler, Siwoo Kim's playing. No, I don't see Burns. I don't see. Yeah. If he's going to win it, this is the time to win it. Your second one in a row, right? Yeah, that's amazing. Did he really? Yeah, that's great. Billy Joe. He was a lumber salesman, according to this. I definitely remember him. Now I'm getting hot. Billy Joe Patton. He won Carolina's amateur, Carolina's open, Carolina's open, North and South amateur, Carolina's amateur, Southern amateur, Azalea Invitational, Carolina's amateur, North and South, North Carolina, South and Jesus. He was inducted to the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame. He was into Wake Forest Sports Hall of Fame, Southern Golf Association Hall of Fame, Bobby Jones Award. Masters 1954. What does LA mean? Low amateur. Third and 54. He was a low amateur twice in the Masters, twice at the Open. He didn't play in the British Open either. Did he play in the British Amateur? No. Walker Cup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, he's a non-playing captain. So he played in 5, captained one of them. America's Cup. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what that is, but he played in 4 of them. Wow, what a legend. American golfer, best known for almost winning the Masters. Morganton. Is that how you say it? Morganton? A 1 stroke of 3-man playoff with Hogan Snead. Wow. Got a hole in one. Ah. He doubled 13 when he tried to reach the green in 2 and put it into Race Creek. Wow. Imagine if he lays up. He wins it. Probably makes par, maybe birdie. You would think if he lays up with a wedge into the green, he's going to make at least a par. That puts him 2 shots better. And he only needed 1 shot. He would have won it. Imagine that. I wonder if there's any interviews with him after that Masters. I'm going to look. Let's see. I think there's a video. Most adventurous golfer in history.
April 1954.
Oh, no, here it is.
Billy Joe Patton, a 32-year-old lumber salesman from Morganton, North Carolina, received an invitation to the Masters. Nobody outside his home state knew his name. Before driving to Augusta, he did something unusual. He bought an expensive white cashmere jacket. When friends asked why, Patton smiled and said he wanted to look nice at the awards ceremony. Most golfers arrive hoping to play well. Billy Joe Patton arrived believing he would win, and he almost did something that stunned the entire golf world. Round 1. Patton shot 70, tying for the lead with Dutch Harrison. Back in Morganton, the local newspaper editor Stanley Moore admitted they had no idea about Billy Joe's transformation. He had changed from a nervous tournament golfer into someone who played free and easy. Round 2 brought the real shock. Patton shot 74 and took the solo lead, becoming the first amateur ever to lead the Masters after 36 holes.
Wow.
He stood 1 shot ahead of defending champion Ben Hogan. His playing style was unlike anything Augusta had seen. Sports Illustrated described it perfectly. Like skirmishers under mortar fire, the van of the gallery would scatter, heads hunched, as Billy Joe's ball rattled through the branches. His lightning-fast swing sent bombs off the tee, wild but powerful. When his ball disappeared into the trees, spectators called it Billy Joe country. Yet somehow, he would hit spectacular recovery shots and sink impossible putts on Augusta's treacherous greens. Round 3, 75.
They obviously don't have video.
Patton fell 5 shots behind Hogan, 3 behind Sam Snead.
Hogan and Patton.
Most golfers would have considered it over, but Billy Joe Patton was not most golfers. He described his philosophy simply: full bore, full guts. Final round Sunday, April 11th, 1954. The Masters had no television broadcast yet. That wouldn't start until 1956.
Wow.
Back home at Mimosa Hills Golf Club, where Patton had learned the game as a child, his neighbors gathered in desperation. Long-distance phone calls cost a fortune in those days. The golfers pooled their quarters together and called Augusta National, begging for updates hole by hole. Every time news arrived, they would shout it across the clubhouse. Lodge brothers brought portable radios to their Saturday poker games. The entire town of Morganton stopped working. Everyone focused on one thing: their Billy Joe. Meanwhile, at Augusta, Patton bogeyed the first hole, but he birdied the second to begin his comeback. Through the front 5 holes, he could not gain ground on the leaders. The crowd of over 8,000 people waited nervously for something magical to happen. They did not have to wait long.
Hole in 1.
Hole 6, par 3, 190 yards. Patton pulled his 5-iron and swung. The ball flew straight into the cup from the air. Years later, Patton recalled the moment. The ball hit the hole on the fly and wedged between the flagstick and the edge of the cup. When I took the flagstick out carefully, there were 3 times the number of people there as there were when I hit the shot. The roar echoed across Augusta National. Bobby Jones, the legendary co-founder of the Masters, was eating lunch outside the clubhouse. He felt the building shake. Jones later said, "The china started rattling. The walls trembled. I had to go out on the porch to see what Billy Joe had done now." In Morganton, pandemonium erupted when the news arrived through crackling phone lines. People screamed and hugged strangers. But Patton was not finished. He birdied the 8th hole, then the 9th. His front nine score, 32, tying the Masters 9-hole record for amateurs.
Wow.
After 9 holes, Patton stood tied with Ben Hogan at 1 under par. After the 11th hole, he was leading by 1 shot. The crowd of more than 8,000 abandoned Hogan and Snead to follow the amateur. Spectators were witnessing something impossible. No amateur had ever won the Masters. But for a brief, glorious moment on that Sunday afternoon, it seemed like Billy Joe Patton just might do it. Hole 13, par 5, Amen Corner. Patton still led the Masters. His tee shot was perfect. He stood 225 yards from the green with Rays Creek lying in wait. 8,000 people held their breath.
Got a weird
His
finish.
playing competitor remembered Patton announcing loudly, "They aren't here to watch
Love
me
that
lay
white
up."
shirt too, huh?
He pulled his forward. That lightning-fast swing. The ball curved right,
That looks
splash.
like Big
It
Jack.
landed in Rays Creek. The massive gallery groaned as one, heads dropping in disbelief. But Patton refused to quit.
Is that Bob
He took
Hope?
off his shoes, pulled off his socks,
Sam Snead.
and waded into the creek. He actually considered blasting the ball out from the water. Eventually, common sense won. He took a drop and finished the hole barefoot, his shoes and socks still sitting on the bank, double bogey 7. His Masters dream was dying. The crowd looked devastated, like mourners at a funeral. Patton turned to face them and said, "This is no funeral. Let's smile again." Those 4 words would become immortal. The London Sunday Times later called it a suitable Easter text, if ever there was one. Patton birdied 14 to recover slightly.
Got the weird finish.
But at the 15th hole, another par 5, he tried going for the green again. He sculled a 2-wood from a bare lie, another splash into the pond. Bogey 6,
That's the Masters.
2
champ.
par
I can't
5s,
remember his name.
2 water balls. The championship was gone. He parred the final 3 holes to finish with 71. 3rd place, 1 shot out of the playoff between Hogan and Snead. Later, Patton explained his thinking. "It wasn't choking, and it wasn't pressure. I got birdies going for the pins, and I got the 6 and 7 going for the pins. No regrets, no alibis." Monday's playoff, Sam Snead shot 70, Ben Hogan 71. Snead won the green jacket. But at Sunday's ceremony, Billy Joe Patton was the star everyone wanted to see. He wore that white cashmere jacket he had bought before the tournament. He stood between Hogan and Snead, the 2 greatest golfers alive. Bobby Jones presented him the Low Amateur Award. Jones spoke to the crowd. If anyone ever created a stir in golf, he did. He has no cause for regret because he finished 1 stroke behind the 2 greatest golfers in the world. Sam Snead, the champion himself, turned to Patton and said, "Billy Joe, you nearly got the whole turkey." There was no condescension in their voices, only respect and admiration. Patton addressed the gallery about his decisions at 13 and 15. "I don't feel bad about that 6 at 15, and I don't feel bad about that 7 at 13. I left Morganton with my mind made up. I was going for it 72 times if I had the opportunity." The crowd gave him a standing ovation. He had lost the tournament, but he had won something far more valuable, the respect of the entire golf world. After the Masters, Billy Joe Patton became an instant national celebrity. President Dwight Eisenhower, an avid golfer himself, took notice. He invited Patton to play at Burning Tree Club near Washington. They played together multiple times over the years. 1 round produced a story that became legendary. Hole 18 at Burning Tree. Patton hit his typical wild tee shot into the deep rough. His recovery shot went worse, flying behind a maintenance garage. He told Sports Illustrated what happened next. "I hit it behind a garage where they keep tractors, and then through a parking lot. The ball flew everywhere. Garage, parking lot, around obstacles. When Patton finally appeared on the green, President Eisenhower had completely lost track of him. Confused, the president asked, "Billy Joe, is that your first or second ball?" Patton smiled.
Just stop it for 1 second. This is Billy Joe Patton, legendary amateur out of Morganton. Was it North Carolina? Hope I don't get that wrong. But almost won the Masters in 1954. Made a hole-in-one in the final round, and then went for in two. If you know the Masters, 13 and 15 are par fives. They're normally reachable birdie holes for the pros and amateurs, obviously. He hit in the creek and he made a double bogey, and he lost. Missed the playoff by 1 shot. So this is who we're watching. Billy Joe Patton. Patton. It's got a few minutes left. We'll finish it up. But Garrett in the chat here, he's from this hometown, and this guy's a legend where he lives. So we figured we'd show it. Why not? We're gonna show more too. That's another thing we're gonna have on the show is history of golf. The legends of the game, like this guy Bill Campbell that I knew back in the late '80s. I didn't realize he was a legend in the game. I mean, I knew he won the U.S. Amateur, but I didn't realize how good this white guy was. He played in 15 Masters. Right. Let's finish this up.
And replied, "I'm only playing 1 ball, Mr. President. You just think it's 2 because I'm hitting it a lot." Eisenhower laughed hard. The story revealed something important about Patton's character. He never changed his personality based on who was watching. President or hometown buddy, Billy Joe was always himself. After his Masters performance, everyone expected Billy Joe Patton to turn professional. He had finished in the top 10 of 5 major championships during his career. He clearly possessed the talent to compete with the world's best. But Patton never considered it. He remained an amateur his entire life. He continued working as a lumber salesman in Morganton, eventually becoming self-employed as a lumber broker. He told sports writer Ron Green Sr. that he made more money in the lumber business than he would have made playing professional golf in that era, before television transformed the sport into big business. Patton explained his reasoning simply, "I just don't like to be gone all the time playing golf. My first job is to look after my family and make a living. I am a lumber dealer." He told the News Herald, "I never thought for a minute of turning pro. Golf remained his weekend hobby, not his profession. Yet he continued dominating amateur tournaments. He won the North and South Amateur 3 times in 1954, 62, and 63. He captured the Carolinas Amateur 3 times and the Southern Amateur twice, the last one in 1965 at age 43. He played on 5 Walker Cup teams with an 11-3 record, then captained the 1969 team. Billy Joe Patton chose happiness over history, and he never regretted it.
Wow.
30 years later, the Masters of 1984, Ben Crenshaw led the final round on Sunday. After birdieing the 12th hole, he arrived at the 13th, the same hole where Billy Joe Patton had lost the Masters 3 decades earlier. Crenshaw hit an excellent tee shot. He faced the same agonizing decision Patton had faced: go for the green in 2 or lay up safely. He knew Tom Kite, playing behind him, had just found water at 12. He later recalled, "I was suffering over the decision." Then he looked into the gallery and saw Billy Joe Patton standing there watching him. Crenshaw, a devoted student of golf history, instantly remembered the 1954 story. Patton's fate flashed through his mind. Went for it, found water, lost the Masters. Crenshaw said, "But then I thought about Billy Joe Patton. It was like a beacon. He took it as a sign. He laid up safely, made par, and went on to win his first major championship by 2 strokes. Here is the twist. Billy Joe Patton was not at Augusta National that day. He usually worked as a rules official, but was not present for the final round.
So he lied?
Crenshaw had seen a ghost or someone who resembled Patton, or perhaps pure imagination.
What the hell?
Real or not, the vision saved him. Patton's legacy had...
This guy talking is Peter Kessler. So he was a good friend with Arnold Palmer and was on the Golf Channel back when it started and did all the interviews, the Tiger interview. He was a legend. I think he's still alive. He was on Facebook and Twitter. He got kind of cranky in his older age. It seemed like on Twitter, like he'd get mad at you if you said something to him. But this is Legends of the Green, which I'm gonna do more with this channel. Like it, I'm gonna like it, subscribe to it. Obviously, I'll do that right now because they're letting us use this. Um, but yeah, we're gonna do some deep dives into some history of the game. I think on certain days of the week. You know, why not learn this game? Because I just learned something huge that I played with this dude back when I worked at Jupiter Island Club, and Bill Campbell, another USGA legend. They were members there. I didn't know these guys were this good. No idea. There was no Wikipedia then, and I was 21 and didn't. It was I'm like upset that I didn't know this. I knew they were good. I played with them. I watched them play. They were in their 70s, but they could still play. You could tell they could play.
Transcended physical presence. 30 years after his moment, he was still influencing champions. Patton continued playing into his senior years, winning the Carolinas Senior Amateur in 1979 and 81. He served golf extensively, joining the USGA Executive Committee in 1983 and serving as president of the Carolinas Golf Association. He worked many years as a rules official at the Masters. In 1982, he received the Bob Jones Award, the USGA's highest honor for sportsmanship.
I don't know if yours is
Multiple halls of fame inducted him. The North Carolina Amateur Winners Trophy now bears his name. He remained in Morganton his entire life. On January 1st, 2011, he died at age 88. 7 years before his death, a reporter asked about 1954 and not winning the Masters. Patton smiled and said, "You know what? I was better off not winning it. I've lived a very happy life." Ron Green Sr. spoke at his funeral. In 50 years of writing sports, he was my favorite person I ever covered. He was all class. Billy Joe Patton proved you can become legendary without championships. He showed that adventure matters more than safety, and joy matters more than victory. The most adventurous amateur in history who stunned two legends and lived without a single regret.
That's who I remember. That's the guy I played with right there. Wow. Garrett, I don't know if you're still here, but that was great, buddy. That was great. What a legend. And that's this guy, Bill Campbell, that was, where'd I go? Where'd I go? Come on, TJ. There we go. Yeah, what a legend, huh? It's amazing like that we don't realize. I mean, these guys, I played with these guys. I'm a nobody in the game of golf. Wow, that's great. Garrett, thanks for that, my friend. Thanks for bringing those back memories. Because we got to forget that. I mean, forget the past. These guys, there was no money in the pros back then. These guys had jobs in the 50s. And, you know, the PGA of America had a touring division, which is now the PGA Tour. It's two separate companies. They broke off in 68. But at the time, they were club pros. So a lot of the guys in the summertime, in the north, would give lessons and play in local little events, but work at the club, run the club. And then in the winters, they'd go to Florida or Arizona, Palm Springs, and play in tournaments. And then they said, wait a second, why don't we keep this going? And it slowly got bigger and bigger. Then they'd play in state opens, Massachusetts Open, West Virginia Open. They still have these tournaments today, but they're not touring pro playing them. They're mini tour guys like myself. Guys hoping to get to the tour. But those were part of the tour back then, And then they got sponsors eventually. I don't know who the first sponsor was, but we're going to look that up. The Miami Herald Open or something. Then they started putting money into it. And then they got more sponsors. And then Jack and Arnie and a couple other guys, Dean Beeman and these guys were like, well, let's go on our own. And they separated from the tour. But these guys had jobs. They didn't make a lot of money. I mean, didn't Jack make like $30 his first tournament or something? $30. Now back then it was probably $500, but still, you can't make a living doing that. You can't make a living doing that. And I'll prove it right here. Look, 456. I won. I got a little trophy and a check. You can't win doing. You can't make money doing that. You can't survive. It's a good side hustle. Teach golf and play golf. It's hard to play pro golf, and these guys understood it, and they chose happiness over. It's a struggle trying to make it, guys. I'm not. If you're that good, go for it. But it's tough. I talked my young son out of it. My oldest son, excuse me. And the kid could stripe it. Won 1,000 junior tournaments. Not 1,000, maybe 150. And he can
Watch
stripe
this,
it.
people.
Well,
Watch this kid pound it.
up there and pound it. The kid could play. Now he's got a great job with the Lakers, and he's doing great. And he still plays golf. He doesn't play like these guys. He's not into it as much like these guys are, but he still plays and enjoys it. Can stripe it, but he's happy. He's happy. Pro golf is tough. Even this Jackson Coiven kid, and I know I got that poll up there. Can he win and all this stuff? Who knows? He may never win another tournament. He may win 1,000. We're gonna find out. Golf is hard. Oh, I got my coffee here, my Disney cup. Can you see Mickey? Oh, it's cold as shit. Gross. Gross. But the legends of the game. Who out there has heard of Billy Joe Patton? Now I have, but I totally forgot about him until Gary brought it up. And I played golf with this dude, a legend in the game, and this other guy, Bill Campbell, legend in the game of amateur golf. You look him up, Wikipedia, whatever. I'll show something on him tomorrow or something. But these guys I'm playing with these guys. I'm 21 years old. I'm having literally BLTs with them, and they're showing me the grip, how to play this hole. Played Seminole, one of the best courses in the world with these guys, and didn't know who they were. I kind of did, but not. These guys are legends. Wow. I love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And that's the history of the game. And that's all right. I'm gonna look at their channel a little bit more. Legends of the Green. Hopefully, they don't get mad at me for showing that. I did subscribe. Everyone, go subscribe to them if you would to show them we love them. What destroyed him? That one night. Drama of Jan Stevenson. How a golf lost her thing. Greg Norman. Wow, these guys are. This is a good channel. This is a good channel. Hopefully, they don't get mad at me. YouTube. I might send him an email. Channel dedicated to celebrating golf's greatest legends. Discover the journey's triumphs. Wow. Pretty cool. Why hate him? The drama of Stuart Sink. How he became golf. This just started? Where are all the rest of the videos? Bob May's golf ruined by this. Swing they mocked. Swing they mocked. She knew. What ruined him? Swing they mocked. Wow. I might have to get this guy on here. Like get him on live and chat with him. Do they have an email? YouTube, United States, 250. Wow, that's great. It's good to know the history of the game if you love golf and know that stuff. I mean, it depends on how old you are. Obviously, Tiger Woods is history to some kids now, you know, or Jack Nicklaus and love or hate. Why is Wayne Radar Riley so controversial? Yeah, we'll be checking these guys out. Don't copy this. Where did he go? What really happened to Rich Bean? Jesus. I like this channel. I would have never found this channel if I didn't look for the history of the Billy Joe Patton guy. This is great. Legends of the Greens. Legends of the Greens, everybody. We gotta love it. It's good stuff. Good stuff. But the Rocket Mortgage, Rocket Chat, whatever it's called, Rocket Classic, it starts tomorrow. I mean, you got Fowler playing, Shoffley, Wyndham Clark. There's not a whole lot of big names. The playoffs are in 3 weeks. The next tournament's the Wyndham Class, but a lot of guys are fighting for their FedEx life. Like this kid Koiven, he's 70th, so he's on the bubble. He's got to finish top 70 to get into the playoffs. So right now he's in, but he's got to have a good week this week. A lot of guys outside looking in, like Emiliano Hilo. He was up there. I think he dropped to 80th or something. Let's take a look at this FedEx, actually. Let's take a look at the FedEx. Starting. Boom. All right. Ah, shit. Starting. Yeah, top 70 get into the first playoff, then top, what, 50, I think? Is it 50? 30. Yeah, 50. So it goes 70, 50, 30. So on the ball at the moment, well, let's look at 67 on. Jordan Smith, Ricky Castillo, Michael Thorbjornsen, Jackson Koiven. That's the 70. 71, Putnam, Meisner, Kiefer, Day, Smotherman, Bradley. Keegan Bradley's fighting for his life. He's trying to get in. He's 76. Tom Hoagie, David Lipsky, Jackson Suber, that young kid. He's 80th. I'm sure all these guys are playing on this. Snedeker, Kepka. I think Kepka withdrew. Perry, Chandler Phillips, he's a 86. Tony Finau. So these guys aren't, they want to win the event, obviously, but they're fighting for their playoff lives. That's huge money to get into the FedEx playoffs. Huge money. Guys that are obviously Scheffler's in. Where's the points? Fitzpatrick, Clark, Young, Camry, blah, blah, blah. Fleetwood, Oberg, Aberg, McElroy's. McElroy's 11th. But a lot of these guys are fighting for their lives to get in the playoffs. It's like the old NASCAR Winston Cup. They were trying to play season-long events. So you win one tournament, great, but who wins the FedEx Cup is supposedly the best player in the world. I don't think really golfers care about like who won the FedEx Cup. I really don't think they matter. They just watch every week as an individual thing and see who won. I don't think FedEx Cup landed what they thought it would do. You know, who won it last year? Tommy Fleetwood, right? Um, yeah, Tommy Fleetwood won it last year. He won the Tour Championship, his only PGA Tour win, and he won the FedEx Cup. So you got to win at the right time too, right? You got to win at the right time. But the average golfer don't care about the FedEx Cup. It's fun to watch the playoffs, I guess. But remember they had that stupid thing where you would start like 8 shots, -10, -8. That was crazy. I don't know if they do it that way anymore. I forget, but I think they just play. Have the last 30 guys play. Whoever wins it. That's what a playoff is. It's like the NFL. If the Chiefs are playing the Bengals, whoever wins. You don't get an advantage over it because you had a better season. Just play. If they could do match play somehow, that would be fantastic. And there is a way to do it with 30 players. There is a way to do it. You start Monday and you just go, you have buys for the first. So you'd want what? If there's 30, well, no, don't do 30 players. Do 24 players? 22 players, have 4 people or 6 people get a bye. The 18 play each other. Then you put the buys in, kind of like the college softball teams get buys, then you seed them in there head to head. I think that'd be the way to do it. And the guy at 24th can win the FedEx Cup if he beats Scheffler, if he beats Fitzpatrick head to head, and he deserves to if he wins. That's a playoff, right? That's a playoff. My opinion, that's a playoff. It's more exciting instead of just starting 10 shots ahead of everybody or whatever the hell it is. I don't think that's going to work. But it's golf, you know. Golf is its niche crowd. Same thing on YouTube. Getting golfers to come watch this channel, it's hard. There's a niche crowd to watch it, you know. And that's okay. That's what we signed up for. That's what we signed up for, my friends. So, but learning the history of the game from these legends is just amazing. The people you never heard of, they were amateur golfers back in the day. Vinnie Giles, another one. Bill Campbell. I mean, these guys, not Bruce Fleischer. What was his name? Oh, the other guy. I'll find out in two. Jay Siegel. He turned pro as a senior. Jay Siegel was an amateur, won a billion tournaments as an amateur. Who was the other one? What was his name? He had that crazy swing, the weird swing. Oh, what's his name? He played on the senior tour and won a bunch. I'll find it. Oh, I can see his name. Not Jay Siegel. I already said Jay Siegel. Nathaniel Crosby, another one. Bing Crosby's kid. Played with him a million times, Zach at Jupiter Hills. He won the U.S. Amateur. 1981. Professional amateur. Rich guy, obviously, but pretty good golfer. What was the guy's name? He was an amateur, and then he went on the Hogan Tour, Nike Tour, whatever it was called at the time. Won a couple of those at like 45, 46, and then at 50, he got in the senior tour. Oh, God. He got that crazy swing, the short back swing, and he flips it. Is it Alan Doyle? Might have been Alan Doyle. Yep, Alan Doyle. That's the guy's name. Yeah, he was an amateur his whole life until he turned late 45. You go on the Hogan Tour was called when we played Nike Tour, Corn Ferry Tour now. Turned pro, won 13 million on the senior tour. Alan Doyle, yeah, crazy golf swing. Took it halfway back, chip shot. He like scooped it. If you watched him, you would think he was a 25 handicapper. Alan Doyle. Alan Doyle, talent, early life. He was born in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, raised in the Boston suburb of Norwood, Massachusetts. That's about 45 minutes from where I am. Catholic Memorial High School in West Roxbury, Mass. Doyle attended Norwich University in Vermont. We'll do a thing on him. This is going to be good, guys. This is going to be fun. Learn some history of the game. He turned professional at age 46. Yeah. And he won 3 times on the Nike Tour, which is the Corn Ferry Tour now. Wow. Made 13 million. Jesus. Imagine that at 50, you think your life's over. You make 13 million. Doyle owns and operates a Doyle Golf Center driving range in LaGrange, Georgia. As a philanthropist, Doyle has donated over 1 million to various charities, including family members of slain rescuers of the 9/11 attacks. Wow. I'm assuming he's still alive. Yep, he's still alive. Nicknamed the Grip. Never played in the Masters, never played in the PGA, played in the US Open 3 times, never played in the Open Championship. These guys are just legends that people got to know about, and I'm here for it, people. Oh, boring Wednesday, right? We got the tournament tomorrow. Yeah, Alan Doyle, another legend. Jay Siegel, absolutely crazy. But that's what we're here for. Gary Player, most disrespected major winner in history. We did the Jean Van der Velde thing the other day. Remember that one when he was in the creek on Carnoustie? Dana Quigley, another one. Club pro for a million years. Loved the booze. He was friends with my dad and my uncles, and they played cards together, bowling, all this crazy shit, and they drank like fish. Finally got his act together. Got one Monday qualified for the tournament at where was it at? It was in Long Island. Meadowbrook, I think it was called, or Meadowbrook, I think. Fancy club in Long Island. Won the tournament. Got on the senior tour and won 50 million. Um, Crazy swing too. Short backswing, just homegrown golf, hockey, just like Alan Doyle. Crazy golf swing. Dana Quigley. There's so many. It's just forget about them all. You just forget them. Time goes on and you get them. And this channel I found here, Legends of the Green. Crazy guys. Crazy. Absolute crazy stuff. Tiger Woods. Impossible records. 59. Yeah, 59 is the kiss of death when you're playing. Like, what's his name? Michael Kim just shot 59. Then he shot a 70 and a 69 afterwards. That's tough to come back from, especially if you're a lower guy like he is. You're not used to the crowds following you and everyone watching you and microphones in your face. Hey, how'd you do? How'd you do? How'd you do? So that's tough. That's tough. Let's get some eye stuff in here, folks. Just putting some eye stuff in the eye. Oh, Nota Begay is on TV talking about he won the Payne Stewart Award for being a nice man. Oh yeah, I gotta look at the radar. I gotta see if these stupid turkeys are up there eating up all the food. Is that a turkey? No turkeys, man. No jive turkeys. No jive turkeys, people. You think it's gonna rain? Oh, you can't see it because it's green. Oh yeah, it's about to start pouring. Great. Just great. That's all right, folks. That's all right. Notable gay. He shot 59, almost shot 58. He almost holed out the last shot to shoot to 58, 59. So that's pretty good. All right. All right. This is my boy right here. I get these videos So this is another one of my man here.
Olin Brown, a 39-year-old journeyman with no junior training, no scholarship, and no pedigree, stood in a playoff against two former champions.
Greater Hartford Open.
He had spent 14 years on tour without a single victory.
He
14
could
years of
putt the
motels,
eyes out of
entry
him.
fees,
Another
and missed
Jupiter Island
cuts.
guy.
One shot later, it was over. Not a birdie from close range. Not a safe approach
This
and a
guy
steady
grinded
finish.
and worked his
A chip
ass
from
off
40
to be
feet
good, folks.
straight into the
I've
hole.
seen it.
The question is not how he won that day. The question is how
Chipped
he
in
even
from
got
off the
there.
green. He loves birds too.
The
He's a
summer
bird
of
guy.
1978, a college student named Olin Brown was working a seasonal job in the bag room at a club on Cape Cod, handing out clubs, watching members tee off day after
Comes from
day.
cash.
He had never played golf, not
Comes from money.
once. But something about the game kept pulling at him. The patience it required, the silence before each shot, the way a single swing could decide everything.
He goes up.
By
his
the
best
end of that
thing was
summer,
putting.
he was hooked.
I've been there.
He went back to Occidental College in Los Angeles that fall and joined the golf team, a Division III program that no professional had ever come
He
from.
worked his ass
He studied
off.
anthropology. He learned the game from scratch, with no junior training, no coach from childhood, and no head start of any kind. His friend and teammate Joe Montijo later recalled caddying for Brown at a U.S. Open qualifier during those college years. "I don't remember exactly what he shot," Montijo said, "but it was something like 85-85. If you would have asked me then, I would have taken that wager that Brown would never make it as a professional. Nobody believed in him. Not yet." Brown turned professional in 1984. What followed was not a rise. It was a grind, long, unglamorous, and invisible to the rest of the golf world. He spent the better part of a decade.
He's one of those first guys with the Jim Hardy swing, one plane action thing like Matt Kuchar does, where you swing left. One of the first guys started swinging left hard after you hit it like that. You can see it. He's aiming to the right with his feet. So if you go back a little bit, you can see he's aiming right with his feet compared to his shoulder line. You see it? You stay like right on top of it and just like swing around you, which is great if you do it a billion times. You got to do it a lot because you don't want to be pulling and pushing shots. You want a one-way miss. You have to do it so many times to do it. But this guy, I seen it. He was a Jupiter Island guy. He worked his ass off.
Long, unglamorous, and invisible to the rest of the golf world.
He didn't hit it far at all.
He spent the better part of a decade
accurate.
on the many tours across the United States.
Put
The life was
eyes out of
simple.
it.
Pile 3 or 4 players into one motel room, pay your own entry fee around $600 a week, and hope you made enough to cover the next event. Brown once described receiving his
wrong.
first real paycheck.
He comes from big money. Big money. And that's not a knock on him, but the 3 guys in the hotel room is
From a
not
tournament. The amount was $997.17. "I thought I had won the lottery," he said. In 1990, he attempted qualifying school, the grueling process
See how it
every
goes
player
in
must
and
survive
around,
to
hits it
earn
in and
a
around.
PGA Tour card.
Like,
He missed by a single shot, one shot. He went back to the minor leagues for another year. Then came a turning point of a different kind. In 1991, he won twice on the Ben Hogan Tour with his father on the bag for the first victory. He finished the season second on the money list and earned his PGA Tour card without needing to go back through qualifying, but the tour chewed him up quickly. He made just one top 10 in his rookie season, lost his card, and found himself bouncing between tours for years. Through all of it, one thing kept him going: his wife, Pam. They had met at Occidental College and married in 1988. While Brown chased an uncertain dream, Pam worked as an assistant state's attorney in Florida, providing the financial stability that made everything possible. When Brown's own stepsister asked Pam when he was finally going to give it up, Pam didn't hesitate. "I'm never going to say, 'Stop doing what makes you happy,'" she said. That was the foundation. Not talent, not a sponsor, a wife who refused to let him quit. By 1997, Brown had quietly put together 3 top 10 finishes on the PGA Tour the previous season, enough to keep his card, not enough to make anyone pay attention. Then came the 1997 U.S. Open held at Congressional Country Club in Washington, D.C., his hometown, the city where he grew up, where he had...
So I did a thing with him at when I was doing the Boston TV show, the golf zone it was called. I got to find it. I know I have it somewhere on a cassette, but that station's gone, WB56 in Boston. But we did a thing with him, my boy Frank Malacote, who now works in TV in San Francisco. He was the sports guy here. We went to the tournament with him, and we did a drill, a golf tip with him. I got to find it, but after he won the Greater Hartford Open, where he chipped in to win it.
Never once been considered a golf
His first
prospect.
PGA Tour win.
He fired rounds of 71, 71, 69, and 71.
Thing I remember the most out of him was putting. He made everything or just missed it when we played together. Short off the tee, short, but could putt the eyes out of it.
Tied for 5th. 6 strokes behind champion Ernie Els, but on the leaderboard, visibly for the first time in his career at a major stage. It was not a win, but it changed everything. That result earned him an invitation to the Masters the following spring, the first and only time he would play Augusta National. He missed the cut by 2 strokes, but the experience left a mark.
He certainly didn't struggle.
Augusta is our golf mecca, Brown said. It has such a history of incredible shots, incredible victories, and agonizing defeats. Standing on the first tee is just an unbelievable feeling. He left Augusta without a score worth mentioning, but something had shifted.
Though. Nice guy, good.
Brown now knew he could compete at the highest level. The question was whether he could finish the job. The following year, he would get his answer.
He chipped it in at the Greater Hartford.
July 1998, the Canon Greater Hartford Open at TPC River Highlands in Connecticut. Brown had been a professional golfer for 14 years. He had never won on the PGA Tour. He closed the final round with a 67, good enough to force a 3-way playoff. Standing beside him were Stuart Sink, the defending champion, and Larry Mize, the 1987 Masters champion. 2 players with credentials. 1 player with nothing but 14 years of trying. The playoff went to the first extra hole. Brown's ball sat 40 feet from the cup, not an ideal position, not a guaranteed up and down, not the kind of shot that wins tournaments. He took his stance, read the ground, and swung. The ball rolled across the green and disappeared into the hole. A chip-in birdie on the first playoff hole against 2 former champions. Pam was watching from the gallery with their 2 young children. Years later,
we wanted him to recreate it and show that chip shot. So we're in the players' locker room, the players' lunchroom, and I'm talking. I go, hey, can we, let's do a recreation of your chip shot that you won your first event on. And he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to trivialize it. Now this is the year he won. So I get it. It was fresh at the time, but we did another drill about probably how to line up on the range. I forget what it is. I'll find it, the tape. But he didn't want to do the chip shot that he chipped in with to win this first event. So we did something else, but
still remembered the moment clearly. It was a beautiful chip shot, she said.
That's all right.
That was a turning point. It defined his position on tour. What made the moment even more remarkable was how rare it was. Brown became the first player since Greg Norman in 1995 to win a PGA Tour playoff by chipping in. In a sport where playoffs are decided by inches, finishing it with a single chip from 40 feet is the kind of thing that happens once in a generation. For Brown, it was more than a tournament win. It was proof to the tour, to the doubters, and most importantly to himself, that 14 years of grinding had not been wasted. Back in the gallery, Pam exhaled. The dream they had shared since their college days, the one that had survived a decade of motels and entry fees and missed cuts, had finally arrived.
The dog is snoring.
Winning once on the PGA Tour is rare. Winning twice in back-to-back seasons is something else entirely.
Yeah,
In May
I remember he putted the eyes
1999,
out of it.
Brown arrived at
He made everything. He, like I said, he worked his ass off, and he played all the mini tours. And I just saw him on the range bashing balls, but he could putt. And that's what I've always said. You got to make putts. He hits the ball the average as a pro. You know, nothing crazy, but the guy could putt. And he's a great
the
dude.
MasterCard Colonial in Fort Worth, Texas, one of the most storied events on the calendar.
The guy talking's Peter Kessler. He's a legend from the Golf Channel. Did all the interviews with Tiger and Jack and all the legends back in the day. Peter Kessler, legend. He's the voice you're hearing.
Colonial Country Club trophy carries the names of Ben Hogan, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Lee, and Tom Watson. It is not a list that welcomes strangers easily.
Olin
There was one more complication.
loves the visor.
Between his Hartford victory and this week, Brown
he'll
had
be on my
suffered a
podcast. I'll
serious
get him
arm
going.
injury. Leading into the final round, he had been restricted to hitting no more than a small bucket of balls per practice
That's his dad
session.
with him, I think.
His preparation was limited by pain, not by effort. He shot a final round 66
Back
anyway.
in the day,
2
Callaway was a
eagles,
senior event.
one stroke ahead of the
Regular pros, we wouldn't use that. Callaway was for like old people. He was one of the first guys to use Callaways on the regular tour.
field. It was his 40th birthday. The payday of $504,000 was the largest of his career to that point. But the number that mattered more was the one on the trophy, his name,
Callaway
now
Golf.
sitting alongside the greatest
Callaway.
players
It
the
doesn't even
game
say
had ever
Callaway. They
produced.
just have the trident,
Brown
right?
never spoke about that day
I've never
with
seen him play
arrogance.
without a hat on. That's crazy.
He had spent too many years eating pizza in budget motels to forget where he came from.
No.
But for one afternoon
No.
in Fort Worth, on the day he turned 40, Olin Brown
Plenty of
belonged
money.
exactly where
Plenty
he
of
was
money.
standing.
Oh, yeah, he shot a 59, too. I forgot.
After the Colonial victory, Brown's career stalled. The arm injury worsened, requiring
Yeah, he always had
surgery
an
in
arm
late
injury.
1999.
Elbow.
He
or
went
something.
from late August of that year to mid-February of the following year without touching a club. 6 months of silence. When he returned, the results were inconsistent. For the next several years, he fell in and out of exempt status, missing cuts, struggling to find his way back to the level he had reached in 1998 and
Not
1999.
easy out there, folks. No
By
matter who you are.
2005, he had not won on the PGA Tour in 6 years. Then came one of the strangest days in the history of golf qualifying. To enter the 2005 U.S. Open at Pinehurst, Brown had to survive sectional qualifying in Rockville, Maryland.
Oh, that's
He
right.
opened the
This was
morning
US
round
Open.
with a 73, a score so far off the pace that making it through felt almost impossible.
You're trying to qualify for the Open. You played 36 at the second stage. Now they call it final qualifying, but we call the first stage, second stage back when I did it. So second stage, you shoot 73. You it's very difficult to come back. You got to shoot a couple 69, 68s. This is 25 years ago. Now you can shoot 65, 65. It's crazy. These guys are so much better. Is it raining out yet? So he shoots 73 at Woodmont opening round.
He considered withdrawing. He was standing on a
Most
golf
people
course,
do.
doing the math,
This
and
is
the
why I
numbers
don't.
did not add up. Then a thought stopped him. How can you quit at something and then tell your kids you can't quit? He stayed. He played the afternoon
What the
round.
hell is that?
He shot 59.
That's his kid.
When he
right
called
there.
home that evening, his son Olin Jr. answered. He said, "Oh, I shot
Nick
69, Olin Jr. recalled. And I was like, "Sorry you missed." He said, No, I shot 59. I misunderstood him. I remember hollering at him in the car on the drive home. 12 days later, Brown was at Pinehurst number 2, standing in the penultimate group, tied for second place, entering the final round of the U.S. Open, one of the most prestigious tournaments in the world. A man who almost walked away from a qualifying round was now 46 years old and 1 round away from a major championship. The final round did not go as hoped. He shot 80 and finished tied for 23rd. The leaderboard moved on without him. But Brown did not collapse. He carried that experience, the 59, the near miss, the 80, into the very next event. Weeks later,
You see what's happening here? Just as a YouTube person, he's not showing video. He's showing still pictures. That's how I got demonetized. I would show the golf video from the tour channel or whatever, and the tour got pissed off at me and told YouTube, and YouTube demonetized me. This guy here is a legend in the game from the Golf Channel, Peter Kessler, that's talking. These are all still pictures. There's no video. He's not showing him chipping in at the Greater Hartford Open to win it or to shoot. Their videos are there. So you're just seeing single pictures. It's just more of an essay, a verbal essay of Peter Kessler, who is a legend. You know what I mean? But that's how I got in trouble, for showing the video. But I guess you can show still pictures. I don't know. He's getting these from somewhere. But I digress. Back to the Olin Brown, one of my buddies. Stories.
He won the Deutsche Bank Championship, his third PGA Tour title, earning $990,000 and the PGA Tour Comeback Player of the Year award. There are days when you do a lot of things right and you end up empty-handed, Brown said. I can't explain it. He didn't need to. The result spoke for itself. Winning the Deutsche Bank Championship did more than add a trophy to Brown's collection.
Deutsche Bank.
It solved a problem that had quietly followed him for years. On the PGA Tour, players without full exempt status must apply, sometimes literally write letters to tournament directors requesting sponsor exemptions just to compete.
Beg for a spot.
Every week without a guaranteed spot is a week spent waiting for someone else to say yes. It is a humbling position for any professional, let alone one who had already lifted the trophy on the PGA Tour. The Deutsche Bank victory changed that. It granted Brown exempt status for 2 full seasons, meaning he no longer had to ask permission to play. It's a tremendous relief not to have to write letters, he said after the win. That single sentence captured something no statistics could. It was not the language of a champion celebrating glory. It was the language of a man who had spent years on the outside, knocking on doors, and had finally been handed a key.
Of course you got to win.
The PGA Tour named him Comeback Player of the Year for
Peter
2005.
Kessler. That's a real guy.
The same season he had nearly walked off a qualifying course after shooting 73 in the morning. From that moment to a tour victory and a season earnings figure of over $2 million, all within the same calendar year.
Definitely.
At 46, Olin Brown was not finished.
No, that's a real person.
He was, in many ways, just getting started.
Absolutely a real man. Absolutely.
There is a detail about Olin Brown that almost no profile mentions. When he and Pam were young, still dating, still dreaming, they used to visit a worn-down par 3 course near their home. Nothing fancy, just a small patch of grass and a bag of clubs. And they would talk about what it might feel like to one day win a national championship. That conversation happened roughly 30 years before July 2011. Brown arrived.
And the name of that par 3 used to be called Golf World 76. It's just north. So Jupiter Island is in Hope Sound, Florida, just north of Jupiter. It's like Palm Beach, Jupiter Island. But up north in Stuart, Florida, on the mainland, it was a par 3 course that he's talking about. We used to go there all the time. It was nuts. All the holes were like 75 yards or less, maybe a couple 100-yard holes here and there. But you drink some beers and you just practice. They had lights at night. It was great. That's what he's talking about.
Arrived at Inverness Club in Toledo, Ohio, for the U.S. Senior Open.
I played.
He was 52 years old, winless on the Champions Tour in over 50 starts, and had not lifted a trophy anywhere since the Deutsche Bank victory 6 years earlier.
God. Yeah, that's
the field included Mark O'Meara, a player with 2 major championships to his name. Brown opened with a round.
You did 16 good ones. You got to take the positives out of it. What did I do wrong on those other holes? Work on that. Work on that motion. Was I concentrating? Was I doing my routine? That's how you got to do it. But at least you played 16 good holes. That's pretty good.
Of 64, tying the tournament record. He followed with a 69, then a 65, taking a 2-stroke lead into the final round. Wire to wire. No one had led this particular championship from start to finish since Dale Douglas had done it in 1986. The final round was not clean. Brown struggled on the front 9, his nerves visible. A bogey on the back 9 briefly tied the match.
Love it.
But O'Meara, playing alongside him, blinked first. On the par 4 13th hole, O'Meara's drive found trouble behind a tree. His recovery struck another tree. His chip rolled well past the hole. Bogey. The lead was Brown's again. He played the final hole with the kind of calm that only comes from having survived everything the game can throw at a person. Drive into the first cut of rough. Wedge onto the green. Ball safely below the hole. He struck the ball and watched it roll into the center of the cup from 30 feet, his most memorable shot by his own account. This goes back a long way for us, Brown said afterward, speaking about himself and Pam. O'Meara, gracious in defeat, offered his own assessment. This is a huge victory for him, he said. It is a major.
Keep working on my recovery shots and keep grinding. That's what it takes. This game is you're gonna lose more than you win, unfortunately. But that's why you've got to take the positives. All right, 16 good holes. All right, I effed up those holes. I'm gonna work on not effing up those holes anymore. You know?
Championship. I think Olin should be very proud of himself.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Brown became only the 5th player in the history of professional golf to win on the Nationwide Tour, the PGA Tour, and the Champions Tour. A career that began on a par 3 course with a borrowed dream had arrived at 52 at its highest point. There is a version of this story that ends with a trophy, with a scoreboard, with a number that proves something.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
But the real story of Olin Brown is not about any single tournament.
I haven't seen him in
He picked up a
10
golf
years,
club
but
at 19.
we'll get
He
him
won
on.
his first PGA Tour event at 39. He won a major championship at 52. And as of his mid-60s, he was still competing on the Champions Tour, still showing up, still signing his scorecard, still proving that the game had not finished with him. His son, Olin Jr., became a professional golfer, the same boy who had hollered in the car after hearing about the 59. The same child who stood in the gallery at Hartford while his mother watched a chip shot change their family's life. When Brown reflected on everything, the motels, the entry fees, the missed cuts, the letters, the injuries, the comeback he did not reach for grand language. He said simply,
He's a famous dude.
"It's hard to look in the mirror and not feel pretty darn lucky."
Ba 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 booey. Ba ba booey. You can't see that. Olin Gazzini. So this is Peter Kessler here. This guy over here. He was on he'd go on Facebook and just get angry with people. It was crazy. You know, he'd get crazy with people. So this is him. This is the Golf Channel back in the day. You know, before you guys were watching it probably. This was the Golf Channel. We can hear that? We can't hear that? Why is it not playing? Can you hear it?
The players who made the deepest impressions.
See, that's the same guy you just heard.
Name?
That's Peter. That's Sevi Ballesteros. Peter's on the right.
41,
But that's
not 42.
the old Golf Channel. This is what they would do. They would sit down like this and talk to guys.
A great player,
They didn't have
as
45
opposed to
hosts. They
wanting
had a
to
few
be great
guys.
player.
At that time, I really feel that.
New Sand Wedge is working great, buddy. There you go. Exactly. I love it. Good for you, my
last
friend.
round. He shot 66, the course record, and now he could beat Johnny. I want to finish second tie with Jack Nicklaus.
Oh, I love it.
I really feel as I finished second.
Greatest iron player ever. Wow,
I
Sevi.
was only 19 then, so that was the first time that I feel like
He was the best scrambler ever. That's for damn
How
sure.
important do you suppose it turned out to be for your imagination?
Sevi was fun to watch.
to
He'd hit
make
it
up
50.
and
I remember
see
watching him at
shots
the Masters.
that you played with a cut
I
down
forget what
3
year it
iron
was.
as a
He hit
kid
it
where you
off
had
the
to
map
use your
on the first hole.
imagination.
I mean, gone.
Well, I think.
And he made a
I
foursome.
started as a
It's like,
caddy,
what
and
the fuck?
caddies obviously were not allowed to.
Yeah, Sevi was the
play on golf
best.
course,
R.I.P.
and
Sevi.
It was very firm, and I have 2 auctions. I can
He's kind of a dick,
use
though.
that
Sevy's kind of a douche.
Parachute shot, as we call
Now
it.
he's dead. I
or
can't say
just the
bad
chip
things. I
and
get
run.
it, but
And I
just
just
being
thought
honest.
that using the second option was the best one because.
Oh, absolutely. I have those
one,
videos. Yeah, I
the
showed those
ground was very
videos.
firm,
They're on my
and what
channel
happened
somewhere.
was
I'll
because the ground
redo
was
them.
very
I'm going to
firm, you
redo
can
them.
play
But yeah,
the-
no, we used to practice those too,
the
though. He
ball
wasn't the
very
only
easily,
one.
So I
No
went to the
offense.
second
He
one
wasn't the
and,
only one.
Just come out the way I wanted.
We all
and I
practiced
finished
those.
Let's take
Set
a look
3
at that. That
irons
was
out of
with
the
a
bunker,
9-iron.
open up. That made you a better
Let's
bunker
take
with
a
the
look right
wedge.
here on this monitor.
But more guys can do.
You're a little bit
Again,
younger
his
then.
legend is that.
Yeah.
But all the guys can do it. It's just people like him better. Look at him right now. Look at him. He's 19 years old right
Go ahead
here.
and tell me.
It was very difficult.
You know,
shot
good
because,
looking dude,
it
Spaniard,
was
the
a small
flare
gap
and the
there, and I have
flash. That's
to
why
just,
people,
let
the legend
ball
grows with someone like
go
him
in
rather
between the
than
two traps
a
and let the
boring
ball
looking
run
dude, you
all the
know.
way to the hole. And as soon
But
as
this
I
is
hit
when he
it,
was 19 right here.
discarded the ball
Look at that.
exactly the play what I wanted to, and I knew.
Yeah,
straight
great
away it was
player,
going to be
legend of the
close.
game.
People don't realize generally, I think, that when you play your best golf, and particularly at that time in the late 70s and early 80s, you happen to be a very straight and accurate driver of the golf ball. And I know that people criticize, for example, at Royal Lytham, when you won your first Open in 79, they talk about the shot down the right side of the 16th hole that was in a temporary car park. But that was really the way to play the hole, wasn't it? You played down the right side.
Yeah,
Well,
he was
there was
great.
two ways to play the hole. It was one to play safe with iron from
He
the
was
tee,
great.
or just hit it to the right side because the wind was left to right and the pin was on the left side.
You used to
of the
drop
green.
it over
So
your shoulder, the ball. Then you
any-
went like this, straight
anywhere
out.
except,
Now you do it from your knees,
on the
which
left,
is
that was
crazy.
the best place to be.
The
And,
knee thing
I
is
hit it to
stupid.
the right, obviously a little bit more than I wanted to,
think.
but as
I
everybody can
think.
see here, is a perfect angle. So it was.
Yeah, when he
straight
played when he was
shot into
younger,
the
he
wind,
supposedly only had a
and
few
it was-
clubs, but
it was very
yeah,
simple.
he definitely
Much
lived
easier
on the
than
beach. That's for
from the
sure.
middle of the fairway, in my opinion.
Is this the championship that
But Lee
you grew
Trevino
up thinking
also said, they
was the
said,
most
and I played a lot of
important
golf with
one
Lee
to win?
Trevino. They said he used to
No
play with a
question
stick,
about that.
and
I
he's saying
think,
that's not true. He
still
had a full
today, I
set of
think
clubs.
The British Open is still
They
the
made
best
up
tournament in the
stories
world.
about Trevino
Because for a simple reason, is
to make it
it's the
sound
oldest.
better.
It has more
But-
prestige than any.
But yeah, they weren't
any
poor.
other-
They were dropping
and
from the
as they
knee is just
call,
stupid. Yeah,
over there in Europe, it's the
absolutely
Open.
stupid.
That means
The rule
talking
changes,
to
the flag
everybody
end
else,
shit,
there's
there's
no
dropping of the
restriction.
club.
If you are a
They're not
professional, you
hazards
have a chance
anymore. They're
to go there and
penalty
pre-qualify,
areas
you
and
have your chance to go
spike
and play in
marks
the
you can
tournament.
tap down is
Doesn't
fucking
happen in any
stupid.
other tournament.
The rules have
And of course, the next
changed
year in
just
1980
horribly, I think,
is
horribly.
when, now you had already, of course, won in this country, but when you came over in 1980 to win the Masters, you did it in such a way that it almost seems like Tiger Woods looked at the tape of your
flag end
1980
putting is
Masters
disgusting.
victory and essentially duplicated the way that you did it. Isn't that true?
Yeah, it was a little bit different. I was more straight off the tee. there was no car park there, and well, you look at the one point that it was very easy victory, but it wasn't. You know, I was 10 shots ahead going to the back nine, and obviously I just for some reason I lost 7 shots on that Amin corner, and and then playing the 15, it wasn't looking very good until I hit that second
It's
shot.
supposed
the 4 iron
to
into
pour
the
out
green, and
here
I make
like
2
the
putts,
gods.
and
Because I want my
really
grass
then
watered, my
the last 3
plants
holes were a
watered,
little bit more easy.
flower,
but,
just a few
it
flowers.
was a
out
great
there,
tournament. I played from the very first
but It's
day all
supposed
the
to
way
pour.
right
I just
into
looked at the
into
radar
China.
10 minutes ago,
And for people who
And it
weren't
was
sure
literally
after
the
you
whole
had
screen
won
was
the
just
Open
green and
Championship
red.
the year before,
and it's not
this
raining.
really put an exclamation point on the fact that
You can't see
you were
it because
here
it's
and
green
you
screen.
weren't going
You throw
away.
it off, but that's
Do you agree with
literally
that?
just all
That this
green.
meant that
Well,
you had
maybe-
arrived when you win
Crazy.
your second major championship.
Well,
rain, zero.
A lot of people say that when I won the Open, I was very lucky because I was hitting
Yeah,
the ball
Peter,
all over the place.
I'll show
and
you the,
all I was doing is just holding putts, and obviously coming.
when
all the way
Sevy and
to-
Paul
to the
Azinger
Masters
got
and
into it
playing
about
in
cheating at
Augusta,
the Ryder Cup. Do you remember
I
that?
really
I don't know if
proved
you're
to
old enough
everyone
to remember that.
I could have really played this game. And that was.
It's
and that
not
was
exactly.
really
Now
When we
from
come back
50
from this
feet,
short break, we'll
leave
talk
it
about
in.
some more
If you have to walk up
championships.
and
We'll
take
a
it
look
out,
at
I
some more
get that.
footage,
Save
so
some
please stick
time and
around,
just
and I
whack
hope that
it.
you will too.
But 5
as we
feet,
come
10
right back
feet, 20
with
feet,
Sevy
take the fucking thing
Ballesteros.
off. Throw it off the green like you normally do. Yeah, if there's something in a hole, how does it help your ball go in?
controversy
We're
of the
going to this
golf
one.
ball, and Erzinger and Beck were 3 up after 9 holes.
So they got caught cheating. Watch that.
I don't think so.
You did.
I'm sure.
You did a couple of times.
What hole?
They're arguing for 25
Supposedly,
minutes.
you have
But
to use the
once Kevin
same
found
ball
that
and alternate shot.
America was
Supposedly
still
they
gonna be 3 up.
cheated. Watch.
Zinger's amnesia left him. I went, oh, sorry, Jose. Yeah, I did do that. I'm really sorry. And as he walked past me, he went, nice try.
See?
So walking off the tee, Sevy's teed off last. 3 down with 9 to play. I told him, he just said, nice try. Sevy's gone absolutely mental. Like, Jose, come here. You see what this son of a bitch said? He said this, he said that. He killed these son of a bitches. And they won 5 at next 8 holes and 1, 2, and 1.
Oh, that's it? I thought that was the whole thing because I was going to do a fair use thing here, but yeah, they got caught of. I don't want that. There's got to be just regular video of it. No, that ain't it. Come on. Well, there's Zinger. Let's see what Zinger.
You should have been to the match in '89 when Sevy and I went out first in singles, and at Belfry, we both hit 3-iron off the first tee, short hole. We both hit wedges on the green. We both make birdie. We both hit 3-iron off the next tee. I hit wedge in there about 4 feet. Sevy hit wedge in there about maybe 12 feet. And he says, I take this ball out of play. And my thought was right then and there, he's pulling something on me. I said, but look at my ball. It's worse than yours. I don't think you can take it out of play. And Sevy looked at me and said, is this the way you want to play today? And I said, I'm sorry.
So the balls back then were balata. It's like a softer material, not like the one they have now that doesn't cut as much or scrape or get out of round. So the balls back then would scrape. I might have some. Let me check, but they'd cut up with a wedge. The grooves back then were square grooves. The balls would rip apart. You know, they would go out of round after a couple drives, but they spun like shit and they loved them. Balata, they would call it balata.
Sorry, bud, my ball looks worse than yours. And he goes, no, it's okay. If this is the way you want to play today, we can play this way. And I'm telling you, he made the putt. The crowd went crazy. And then I stood over my ball and my hands were shaking and I missed. And they cheered louder when I missed. I went on to win that match against Sevy, thank goodness. But that was a real eye-opener as to what it was like to play against Sevy Ballesteros.
Yeah, he was a curmudgeon. And that's fine. That's okay. Damn it, I want to see that video. Why don't they show it? We'll do it. We'll find it for another day, I guess. We'll find it for another day, my friends. So that's what I'm going to start doing, too, is have one day I'm going to do a history of the game. At 9 o'clock on Wednesday nights, just go back, old school stuff from the history to people caught up on what happened back in the day, so people would know what's going on, you know. But Sevy was, I mean, he was fun to watch. He was a legend, absolute legend. What is this called?
Again, I believe in '88, it really took a little bit of that.
You go like
pressure.
I remember seeing him,
or whatever you
I don't know,
call
was it
that,
Doral in the early '90s? He was in the bunker.
What did your dad,
and he's showing someone to
as
hit
he
bunker
was sick
shots
and dying,
and he
tell you
puts the ball in the sand. He
how
takes
much
it,
you
you
had
like
meant
the ball
to
like
him,
this, you take the club
about
and you
how
do that.
proud
It's like,
he was of what you had accomplished as a man and as a
he
champion?
didn't really help anybody there,
well,
pal.
my father was the kind of man.
He said, "You just do these."
He was always happy. His
Funny
sense of humor
man.
was very good. He always worked very hard. He used to tell not only me, all my brothers, that in life the important thing is if you want to achieve something, you have to work hard.
What the hell happened to my watch?
And with working hard and with determination is the only way you can achieve what you want. And I thought that was very, very good.
Let's go back to 1984. For many people, and perhaps for you too, one of the most exciting championships we've ever gotten to see was you winning at the Home of Golf, where Bobby Jones has won and where Jack Nicklaus has won. and I thought it might be
Something weird
fun for
happened
our
in my
audience, and I
watch.
hope
Must have been
it
an
might be
update.
fun for you.
Yeah, that's Peter
Take a look
Kessler.
at
That's
some
the guy that was
shots
doing that
of
interview
73rd
earlier when he
and
thought it was AI.
72nd holes as we get
So
ready
he
to
must
see
own
that
that
fist
channel I was
pumping.
showing.
And
But he
tell
was
us
the
what was
original
going
Golf
through your
Channel
mind. I
guy.
know
He
that,
did
for
interviews
example, the
like
second
this with
shot on
Tiger,
17
Jack,
was a
Arnie.
brilliant club
Back
selection
in the
for
day,
you,
well
as it turned
respected.
out. Let's take a
But
look and tell
I
me
think
what's going on, Sevi.
Probably in his up
Well, we're
80s
here in the
now.
17 area.
He's turned into a
Previous
curmudgeon
3
on
days,
social
I was
media, but
there.
I haven't seen his name.
I was there
anywhere.
also, and
Mostly
the
on
difficult
Facebook.
thing from
Let me look if he's still
that side
around.
was to, as you just say,
But he would
was
get
to
ornery
select the
with
right
people.
club, and I
Ornery.
took a 6-iron and just carried the ball on the front part of the green, and just everything came out the way I wanted, and from there it was all I have to do, just make 2 putts, because making anytime you make par on 17 and San Andrews is like
Golf
a birthday.
Talk Live with Payne
And
Stewart.
that was a good putt there. I put it
His
completely
last
close,
post was 2024.
and then walked to the 18th, knowing that that was very close to win. Obviously, Tom Watson was coming behind right there also.
And you were
And
really
then-
tied at that point.
Yes, but I knew that Tom has to play the 17, which was not easy.
Yeah, he doesn't post
And,
it much, but he may
I
post
knew I needed to make a
on
birdie
other
to
people's
make sure
stuff,
that I beat Tom.
but I'm
That
not
the
sure.
splash with the sun was windy, and that was a pitching wedge. I hit it.
But yeah,
about,
he
15
did a
feet
great
short
job
of
of
the
these
flag in the
interviews, and
perfect
he will tell
position.
you he was the best. And
And then
That's
facing
great.
the
Good
putt,
for
I was
him,
just
but-
thinking, well, I have to
but
hold
Sevi,
the
when he
putt
made that
somehow,
putt,
because
remember he started
if I
shaking
hold
his
the putt,
hand.
I'm
This
sure
was
I'm
great. I don't know
the
if you guys
champion.
seen this, but he
And
makes
as soon
the
as
putt,
I
he
hit it,
starts
I
going
thought I
like
hit
this.
it a
Is
little
this
bit
it?
to the right. But I think
Yeah, right here. I love that.
with my
Look
energy,
at
I
him.
just put the ball straight in the hole, and
That's
this
to win
is,
the British
I knew
Open.
that when I hold the putt, I was the champion.
See?
As you can,
That's
as you
fun.
can see on this expression. I
I
even
love
took the
it. That's
caddy
his
off the
brother,
green.
Vicente.
And it was
Vicente, give me the
one of the
wish.
greatest moments of
That's
my career.
that was
On
Bernard
that
Langer's
wonderful
caddy.
note, we're going to leave our audience for just a moment. We'll come
Wow.
right back and talk about
See,
more
this is
great
what
things.
we're gonna do.
Don't
This
go away.
all the time now. Show some old time stuff. The older crowd might want to see it. The younger crowd can learn something from these guys and the old timers. Do some fair use shit, but this is the World Golf Hall of Fame right here. But Sevi, man, he was a legend. Get up and down from anywhere. Just a great player. Great to watch. Fun. He would have gamesmanship, and he'd jingle change in his pocket when you were teeing off, and gotten a lot of arguments at the Ryder Cups, things like that. But great to watch. Great to watch. Golf Talk Live. Yeah, this was the original Golf Channel back in the day. 1999. Wow. Woo! No, this is Florida. What's it? Jacksonville? No.
The Ryder
St.
Cup turned out to
Augustine,
be
Florida. St. Augustine,
the
Florida.
perfect world
Peter
stage
Kessler,
for Sevi
Sevi
Ballesteros, and
Ballesteros,
a place
St.
where
Augustine, Florida.
other
I was
European players like Bernhard Langer and Nick Faldo and Ian
right. Of course, I
Woosnam
was right.
could gain confidence
Yeah, Peter
to be
Kessler,
great
legend
world
at
players
interviews.
from their performances in the Ryder Cup in the late 70s and early
Hugo
80s.
Boss.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, well, the Ryder Cup, it really it was nothing early in the early 70s.
So
There
99.
was no competition. It was
How
only
old
one
was he
way,
then?
and then it was Jack suggesting
How
and
old
say
that?
that I think the Continentals players should be including into the team, so it will become Europe. And then in '79, Antonio Garrido and myself, the two Spaniards, we joined the team, and we still lost.
Imagine
But,
being that good looking and that great of a golf
in
game.
81, I was
That's
not on
not
the
fair,
team.
folks. That's not fair.
And
Really
in
not fair.
'83, it was in Palm Beach, Florida, when Jack was the captain. That was the very first time that the Europeans have the chance to beat the Americans.
Just
And,
not fair, man.
obviously,
Just not fair.
In '85,
You gotta
at
have it
Belfast,
all,
that was the first time ever that the Europeans beat the Americans. And
And then you had
that was the best thing
Olazabal
that happened
teeing off in an hour, buddy.
for the
All
Ryder
right.
Cup.
Yeah,
and
go
for the game
warm
of
up.
golf.
Work on
And
staying
since
back,
then,
kid.
the Ryder
Keep
Cup,
staying
in my
back,
opinion,
side bend. Watch
is
that
the best
Craven
tournament,
video I
in
did.
golf
See him
today.
staying back?
Do you feel like,
you'll hit
much
bombs.
like Gary
You'll get
Player,
30 yards
like
off
to
the tee
have
more. 30.
a momentary kind of a
If you stay back
confrontation, like
behind it
when
better, you'll pound
in
it.
'78 when you were playing with him when he won the Masters, and you're walking down a fairway on
Absolutely
the back
pound
nine, and Gary Player says, These people don't think that I can win, but I'm going to show them. You feel that way a little bit too sometimes in competition, especially in the Ryder Cup.
Cool, buddy.
You
Welcome.
We're not
Good to see you, my
expected as a
friend.
team to win, but that was just the kind of thing to get you
We're just
going,
starting our
right?
channel, pal. We're trying to grow, my friend. Glad to have you here.
For the players, but we play for
Glad
the
to
honor,
have
and
you here,
obviously
buddy.
The Europeans, we were
Are you a golfer,
tired
Kid
of,
Gaming?
being beaten
Fun
by the Americans
TV?
all the time, and we
Do you play
wanted
the
to
game?
show them that we can compete against them, and obviously winning
Fortnite.
for the first time in '85 was
I used to play
something very
Blades of
special
Steel back in the day.
to,
That's how
to
old I
us,
am.
and it was fantastic. But,
NHL, Blades of Steel it was
when
called.
you
It was
play
so
match
funny.
play is different than in medal
It was
play.
Nintendo, I
Match play
think. Nintendo?
is man to man,
Blades
head
of
to head, you know?
Steel.
And it's
Because back then they
doesn't
didn't have
matter
like
the score,
licenses with the
it's
NHL and
just,
stuff. It was crazy.
It's just one against
Blades
the
of
other,
Steel.
and it's a little bit more different. It's
Blades of
more
Steel.
straight confrontation than
Now
in
the
medal.
NHL games.
And that is
Uh-oh.
why I think match play is better than medal play, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
that's,
Blades of
that's why
Steel.
the
My
Ryder
kid,
Cup
my son,
is such a good
again,
tournament because
I
it's
talk about this
face
kid
to
all the time.
face, and
He was
also
a-
because it's a team event, the people are
Thank you,
involved
buddy. He
in
was
the
a
tournament. So
he
it's
played
a
for the
fantastic
Anaheim
tournament.
Ducks
When
online
you
NHL
won as
team a few years
captain
ago.
in
We got
1997,
the duck shit
and then the
everywhere. It's
papers
pretty
would
good.
say, "Oh, but he was too busy or he was too involved." But the bottom line was, you won.
Who's that? Is
so
that
for you to read these criticisms in the paper,
Clint Eastwood?
it had to make you laugh, didn't it?
Casetos.
My mission there was to make sure that
Casetos.
everybody was happy and everybody was
Casetos.
ready to compete and to choose the.
You only
the
golf once, buddy?
players. And obviously,
You gotta get out there,
going
kid.
into Sunday, 5 points ahead.
Give it a
never
shot.
happens in the
Played
history
in
of the
the
Ryder Cup.
Xbox golf. Try that
Seeing
first,
the
right? Or
Europeans,
what's it, PGA
having
Tour? Something,
such a
Tiger
big
Woods
lead.
golf?
So
We're going to be
it
doing
makes
that in the
me laugh
fall
when
and the
some
winter,
people
having
say,
our own
well, Sevi
gaming
was
Tiger
too
Woods
much involved,
golf
and Sevi
tournament.
was doing
So
this, and Sevi
you're
was
welcome
doing
to
that.
join us for that if you want to learn the game of golf.
You know, if it's pity that
You are welcome
I
for
didn't
that,
do
my
things
friend.
properly, because if I did
This guy here on the
things
screen is
properly,
a
the Ryder
legend in
Cup
the
will
game. I
be
know I'm talking over
already
him.
finished
but
before Sunday.
And who took that Ryder Cup
He's a
home?
legend
You?
in the game of golf. He has since passed on of cancer of the brain. So RIP for this guy, right? But yeah, he was a legend of the game. He's from Spain. Sevi Ballesteros, his name is. Yeah, he's gone now, but trying to show people the history of the golf, my friends. Not just your local golf stuff,
I
pro
think the
golf,
whole
Tiger
team
Woods, all this
they
fancy
won.
shit.
I mean, I
Here's the old
play a
school
little
stuff,
bit
old school stuff, guys.
part of that, but it was a great team. They played
What's your
fantastic the
what's
whole
your
week,
game to play?
and I
Kid
think it was.
gaming. What
It
do you
was a
play? What's your favorite?
tremendous week, a great
Do
competition.
you have a favorite?
And to me, the best Ryder Cup we have so far, from what I see.
We're going to take one more short break. When we come back, let's do a little bit
What's that
of
one with the
1988
gang?
Royal Lytham and St. Anne's. Maybe we'll
GTA?
take a look at that chip on the last hole, one of everybody's
GTA,
favorite
right?
shots. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Yeah, golf's hard. Golf's expensive. It's hard to get at the course. It's not easy to do unless you make sure you're holding the club right, and all that stuff.
In the Ryder Cup,
Yeah, this is a Ryder Cup
I know
from
how
the
he
back in the
feels. I
day.
know how he thinks, and
But golf is tough to break into. It really is.
obviously
It's
he
sad. That's
feels the
why my lessons are so inexpensive. I do them online now. Instead of $150 an hour, it's $40 for swing evaluation. I give you golf drills to do, tips on how to help you swing better, and you just keep working on it. So that's what we do here. And we're slowly growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. But yeah, Sevi's a legend, guys.
And
I'm
why
fair
with me,
using it so I don't get in trouble.
Just, in my opinion, we just make a
Sick of getting in
perfect,
trouble by
partnership, and that's
YouTube.
why
Demonetize
that's why
once is
we've been
enough.
very successful in the Ryder Cup.
And tell me
Demonetize
how much
once is
fun it
enough,
is,
folks.
given how successful the two of you have been together, when you have that partnership.
it's
How much
dark
fun
as
is it when
shit
you're
out,
actually
but it's
playing the
not
game
raining
together?
yet.
You both look radiant.
Well, it's, obviously it's a lot of fun, especially when you
again?
come
Oh,
out and
you
you
look at
know
the
that
weather.
you have a partner that is going to support you, and you know
weather
that you're going
map.
to support him, and with that chemistry, you have tremendous
Flooding,
confidence
rain
on winning
continues.
the match.
It's not
and,
even raining.
That
Oh,
makes
maybe it is.
you more confidence, more relaxed, and you come out there
I might be going to
and
the
just
gym.
play your best.
Speaking
south
of playing
us,
your
guys,
best, one of the
just south
greatest
of us.
rounds that we've had the
Might be
opportunity
going
to
to gym
witness
soon with my
was, of
wonderful
course,
daughter
your
here,
final
so
round
we'll find out here
65 at
shortly.
Royal
But
Lytham in 1988.
yeah,
when Nick
Lefty,
Price
get
was
out there,
still
work
looking
in your
at that
game,
time
stretch out a
for
little
his
bit.
first major championship.
Always
Now, I
stand on the
think
right
that we
side of the tee
have
with that driver. Aim
we
down
don't
the
have the
left side,
birdie
please.
eagle
Trust
birdie in the
me,
middle,
just
but I think
keep
we have
doing
the
it.
eagle birdie on
Trust me.
7 and 8. Maybe we'll take a quick look at that and you tell us what's going on. And this is, I think, where you really took control
What's
of the golf
happening? What's
championship.
he saying? Oh, here we go. British Open.
Well, that's the eagle.
Look at that
thing I
swing,
make,
huh?
And
Oh, gorgeous.
that was the turning
Beautiful
point in my
man,
opinion,
sexy
because,
man.
It was
Look
it
at
was
that.
Nicky, Price, Nick Faldo, and
The other
I,
guy's in there
and
4
Nick,
feet too,
Nick
and he
Faldo
knocks it
made
in
the
there
3
3
putts
feet.
there, so he was the one
These guys
who
got
really
no
dropped
teeth.
from that
Just
from the
kidding.
tournament. And then it was just
Just kidding. That's for Eagle.
Nick Price and myself.
Drano. That's a
all the way
ping
head to head,
answer
into
2
the last
putter
hole.
he's got.
And that was really the turning point.
Slazenger
You
sweater on.
always
There's
wore
Justin
that
Rose,
outfit,
a
it
young
seemed like,
Justin
on Major
Rose.
Championship
That's
Sunday.
Nick Price in the back there.
The blue color, I mean, yeah, always blue. That blue has always been my favorite color. And obviously playing that day with the two Nicks, it was a great experience. And Nick Price played fantastic that day. He just was a little bit unlucky. Then I hold a couple more putts than him, but he really played fantastic.
You didn't miss anything that day.
No, not really.
Let's take a look at one that looked like it was going in, which is, of course, your last chip on the last hole. We'll take a look at that.
When I watched this chip, still today, I think one of those days the ball is going to drop in the hole, because it seems straight away I knew that was going to be very close.
This could be the time. It might go in.
Maybe. No,
We had the video.
And I knew
we
that
had the
as soon as I
video of
carried the
this.
ball into the green,
Tom
I just
Watson,
have such a good
18th
feel that I knew it was going to be close. Never sure how much close, but very close. And it was not easy because Nick Price was on the green.
Folks. That's not
and
it.
I was only one shot ahead, and the lie was not so good. So it may look very easy when you watch on the video, but it wasn't that easy.
When parents say to you, I have young children like you do, Sevi, how should I introduce
Man,
them
it's
to
dark
golf?
out.
What do you say?
Dark.
Well, in my opinion,
Zero
it's just
dark
to
30
take
out
them
there,
to one of the
guys.
golf tournaments.
Zero dark 30.
Maybe the atmosphere will get into them. In my opinion,
gotta
that's
love
the best
Sevi.
way, or just take them for a round of golf. But the worst thing you can do, in my opinion, is to push them to do something that you want.
Be that to ball
Let them to choose whatever they feel like.
He used to say,
And
heat it, we
sometimes,
little more.
What I do with
Guy
my
was a
children when I
legend.
take them to the par 3 course, I go there and I anytime I see them that they're having a great fun, I always say, come on, let's go, we have to go home. And they say, no, we want to stay a little bit more. Okay, no, let's go home, we come back tomorrow. If they stay there too long,
Golf
they
history.
just,
Hectos, are you
drop
out there,
that
buddy?
desire, you know?
How
That's
do you see
important.
it?
How
Kestas?
important are championships to you now?
Well, golf is been my life.
It's good to
Golf
see
is-
people
is-
popping in here.
thanks
Come
to golf,
on, people.
I
Pop
have
in.
everything.
Say
I
hi.
have
Leave your
even my
name.
family, because I met my wife.
Pop in, baby. We're watching
through
Legend of the Golf
golf, and,
Spangle. Let me turn it off. Legends of the Golf Game. Sevi Ballesteros, Spaniard, World Golf Hall of Fame, Masters winner, British Open winner. That's all. Just those two. But Ryder Cup legend, European stalwart, just a great individual in the game of golf. That's what we're watching here. Just a great individual in the game of golf.
And I'm very grateful for all what I
Just
have
a
achieved.
legend in the game, folks.
And golf is the only thing I know what I
Don't
can do.
forget.
And
Yeah, you want
obviously,
coaching? You want to learn some
I love
coaching?
the game,
I'm the
and
guy
still
to
I
help you
like
get through
you know,
it.
to compete. And
It's easy.
anytime I play in a
$40
golf tournament, I just feel very happy. And very
$40
proud to be
bucks. You
there.
kidding me? Cheap.
What did you think when you heard that there might be a little
Cheap,
bit of
cheap,
rough
cheap.
at your golf course, Augusta National?
Well, I don't know.
This
I'm looking
coffee
forward
is
to be there. but,
ice cold. Ice
Augusta
cold,
with those
folks.
fast and firm greens. And if the wind blows,
Legends of the
playing
game,
from-
guys.
from
We
the
got to
left,
watch it.
it will take,
You got to watch it and learn
maybe
from
2
them.
weeks to finish the
You know?
tournament.
I mean, this guy's
Do
passed
your
on brain
kids
cancer.
give you good
Not
balance and
exactly sure when,
perspective
10
now?
years
Is
ago,
it,
probably.
is it
Maybe more.
easier to get
No
over a
disrespect, love 'em.
disappointment in golf because you have a wonderful family?
That's Peter
Much
Kessler
easier,
on the right,
much easier. Every time
greatest
I have a
interviewer
bad
of
day,
golf of
whatever,
all
I always
time.
think about my family, and that's at the end of the day, that's is what is most important. The difficult thing is to get away from home. That's very difficult.
Were those his kids or
And
something? Was that his
every time
mother?
I
His
go
wife?
to play a golf tournament and I see
I
them
can't hear it, so
in
I'm
the
just
door saying
watching.
bye-bye, it's
No idea what he's saying.
pretty hard, not easy.
No clue
We
what he's saying.
hear about so many people who are in a rush
Peter Kessler, the
to
legend.
get to 50 years old.
The shirt
You're in no
jacket
rush for
color
your
combo
42nd birthday, which
probably
comes up in a
off
couple of
base
weeks,
a little
right?
bit.
Not really.
but-
A lot of people start
Hey,
talking
black and
about,
blue, like getting
saying,
punched in the face, right?
Very soon you get to the senior tour. I'm not interested in the senior tour. I'm just interested in the regular tour, and I don't really want to gain age to get into the senior tour. Like I have the feeling that some people who want
Oh,
to.
I love it.
I
I
mean,
love it.
Time goes
Absolutely
by quick
love
enough,
it.
I think.
Sevy, it's been such
Look
a
at
great
this beautiful
pleasure to have
man.
you
Is this
with
almost
us
over?
here this
This
evening.
is almost over.
I wish
This
you the
is
absolute
over,
best of luck
folks.
going forward, and thank you for all the thrills you've given us over the
Wow. Why is my hat blending into the green screen? That's weird. My hat says Ryder Cup. All right. What are we going to watch next? What do you want to watch next, folks? Choo, choo, choo. All right, let's go to the women's game. All right, this is for the not for the faint of heart. Not for the
competed
faint of heart,
against.
guys.
She won 3 major.
All right, don't get too excited out there, golfers.
Jan Stevenson
Don't
worked
get too
harder
excited,
than almost
people.
anyone
Don't get
on
too
tour.
excited.
Nancy Lopez once called her one of the 3 hardest working players she ever competed against. She won 3 major championships. She was inducted into the
Thing's
World Golf
moving.
Hall of Fame,
Pissing me off.
and yet the world remembers
Am I in
her
the
for a
center down
bathtub
below or
full
not?
of golf balls. The very thing that made her famous is the same
Don't
thing
get
golf
too
history
excited,
quietly
people.
blamed for her downfall. But the real ending of her
Not
career
get too
was not a
excited.
photograph, a headline, or a swing. It
Could
was
be
one
lunchtime
night in
soon
Miami,
for the golf
and
channel
nobody
here.
saw it coming.
Who remembers her?
Jan Stevenson
I
was
didn't
born in
have any
Sydney,
idea she was
Australia,
Australian
1951.
till
She picked up
like,
a golf club for the first time at
she
age 10,
retired.
and the talent
No idea she
showed
was
almost
Australian.
immediately. Within a
See,
few
back in the
years, she
day,
had
we
won
didn't have
5
internet and
straight
all
New
this, so we
South
didn't even
Wales
know
schoolgirl
we didn't hear
championships,
her talk. We
followed
just
by
saw her play
3
golf, and she
consecutive
was
New
pretty
South
and
Wales
sexy
junior
and,
titles.
you know, that's
By her
what she
early
was. But
teens,
we had no
she
clue
was already
she was
being treated as
Australian.
the most
Absolutely no
promising
clue she was
junior golfer
Australian.
in the country. Her father, Frank, was the driving
Oh,
force
Frank.
behind that
Look at
talent.
Frank.
He worked with her constantly, pushing her through early mornings and long practice sessions. One particular morning has stayed with her for
Sub to this
decades.
channel if you would.
It was
They're
cold,
great channel.
and a
Peter Kessler,
teenage
great
Jan
guy.
told her father she did not want to get out of bed to practice. Instead of arguing, he placed a warm water bottle
Hey,
at her feet
it's a
and
when
said
we
something
don't
she never
discriminate
forgot.
against the women golfers
If
here.
you
We
get
love
up
the
now
women
and
golfers,
practice,
we're gonna watch the
one
women
day
golfers.
you might win the U.S. Open.
I promise you.
That kind of belief made the setback that followed even harder to accept. At 15 years old, Stephenson won every single trial required to represent her
Look at
state
these
at the
outfits,
national
huh?
championships.
That's wild.
The stroke play trial, the match play trial, all of it.
Look at these
And
outfits.
still, the
What's
selectors
this,
left
the
her off
80s
the
probably,
team,
right?
citing her age. She
That's
had earned the
70s.
spot through performance, and it was taken away anyway.
Yeah, she was.
It was a
something
devastating blow at the time. But it also pushed her toward a decision most 15-year-olds would never consider. Rather than wait for permission from a selection
else.
committee,
She's like, who's the girl from Australia? The
Stevenson
singer,
turned professional in 1973,
Pat Benatar? No,
joining the Australian LPGA before she had even
Olivia
finished her
Newton-John.
teenage years.
Olivia Newton-John. She looks like Olivia Newton-John. Kinda.
Stevenson joined the American LPGA
But she
Tour
could
in
play golf.
1974
Look at the pants
and
they
was
wore.
immediately
They couldn't wear
named
skirts back
Rookie
then,
of the
maybe?
Year. But recognition on paper was not the
Or-
same
oh,
as
she hitting-
recognition in the sport.
Hitting people.
For 2 years, she remained
That's
a
not
talented
recommended,
player
but-
without a signature win. Close, but not yet a champion.
They tried to make her a
That
sex
changed
symbol.
heading into a tournament in Naples,
That's like
Florida.
Natalie
early
Gulbis. Remember Natalie
1976.
Gulbis?
Before the event, LPGA Commissioner Ray Volpe had already noticed something in Stevenson that went beyond her scorecard. He told her plainly what he needed from her. If you could just win, then I could really promote you and they wouldn't
If you
be
could
able to
just
say,
win. Imagine
she's
that.
just a pretty face.
Jesus Christ.
The message was clear. Her talent alone was not going to be enough to build the story Volpe wanted. She needed a victory first. The weather did not cooperate. It turned unexpectedly cold for Florida, and Stevenson had to buy a wool hat from the pro shop just to stay warm during play.
What?
She later called it one of the best purchases she ever made. In the final round, she was paired with Judy Rankin.
I was just going to
And the
say,
tournament
that's not
turned on a
her.
single
That's
mistake.
Judy Rankin.
Rankin made a double bogey on the 9th hole. From that point, Stevenson said, she felt the title belonged to her. She closed out the win despite carding a 76 over the final round of the 54-hole event.
We're itchy,
The phone
folks.
call came almost immediately while she was
Look
still
at that
sitting in the
outfit. Look
press
at those
room.
pantaloons.
It was Volpe. This is perfect, he told her. You are
This
now
guy
the
seems like
face
a
of the
douche.
LPGA Tour.
Is this
In
guy
that
a douche?
instant, Stephenson stopped being simply a golfer with potential. She became the symbol the entire tour had been waiting for,
Look at that outfit.
whether she was
Jesus,
ready for
that's
everything
70s,
that
I
title
think.
would demand of her or not.
Yeah, that was a 70s
Between
outfit.
1981 and 1983, Stephenson built the finest stretch of golf in her career.
Did she
3
win,
major
David?
championships, 3 consecutive years.
She was
No one
probably
else on tour
divorced 10
able to match that
times.
run at the time.
A
It began
mess.
with the Du Maurier Classic in 1981. The following year came the LPGA Championship, won in the middle of a personal legal battle that was consuming her time and her focus.
What,
She admitted
divorce?
as much before that tournament even started. I've been spending so much time with lawyers that I don't have time to practice.
Wow.
The third major arrived in July of
That's
1983
tough.
at
Tough.
Cedar Ridge Country Club in brutal heat well past 100 degrees. Days
Look at
before
that
the
swing. They
tournament,
moved way off
Stephenson's
the
golf
ball.
clubs
Isn't
had
that
been
crazy?
stolen, along with a friend's car. She was forced to
Such a
compete in
different
one of the
motion
biggest
back
events
then,
of her
guys.
life using a borrowed set.
This
It
thing's
did
done.
not slow her down.
Yeah,
She
Pat-
edged
that-
Joanne Carner and Patty Sheehan
Pat-
by a single stroke to
Betsy
win the
King.
U.S. Women's
No,
Open.
no, that's not Betsy
To
King. What's her
understand
name?
how rare that 3-year run
She won the U.S. Open? Come on.
truly was, consider this. Before Stevenson, only Kathy Whitworth had won a major in 3 straight years back in the 1960s.
Kathy Whitworth.
After Stevenson, it would take almost a decade before Patty Sheehan matched it in the early 1990s.
Wow.
In the modern game, dominant stretches like that are almost always attached to the biggest names in the sport. The kind of run that
That's crazy.
today would put a player's name permanently in
people.
conversations about the greatest of all time.
Okay,
What
golf.
made it more remarkable was how
Great
it happened.
stream. I love it.
Stevenson was not simply a gifted ball striker coasting on talent.
Hey, Nancy.
Lopez, one of her closest
Nancy,
rivals
what's
on
up,
tour,
Nancy? My
later
sister's
described
Nancy.
watching Stevenson from a hotel room window during one tournament week, practicing on the green long after most
She wears the
players
same
had already
outfit a
gone
lot.
in for the night. I'd rank her in the top 3 of hardest working players on tour, Lopez
Wow, she
said.
works hard.
She
I
was
love it.
always working on something. That combination, natural power,
That's got to be a
aggressive
training
instincts,
video or
and
something. She's
relentless
wearing that
preparation
blue outfit,
is what
light
carried
blue outfit.
Stephenson through the most
Look at
demanding
that swing.
stretch
Jesus.
of women's golf
That
in
looks
that
like it
era.
hurts.
For 3 years, she was simply better than the field. At the exact moment the sport needed a new face to prove
Nice balance
she
finish, though,
belonged among its
guys. Check
greatest
that
champions.
swing out. Copy her.
The
Finish
image of Jan
balance.
Stephenson as a symbol of glamour began in 1977 when she appeared on the cover
Scoop,
of Sport
poster
magazine
girl.
for an
Jan
issue
Stephenson.
titled
Oh, damn.
Sex in Sports. The photograph was considered
Natalie
shocking
Galbus.
even by the standards
Who
of
was
the
that
time,
tennis player?
and it
Holy
spread through the
shit.
golf world and beyond
What was her
almost
name?
instantly,
Like in the 90s.
long before anyone had a
Anna
phone in their pocket to
Kournikova.
share it further. It sparked a debate that
Couldn't win
lasted for
shit, but
years
Jesus
about
Christ.
how the LPGA should
She
market
sold a
its
lot of,
players. Nearly a decade later, in 1986,
something. Pictures.
Stevenson posed for a photograph
She's naked.
sitting in a bathtub, covered by nothing but dozens of golf balls. It became one of the most recognized
why
images
not?
in the history of women's golf, and one of the most
OnlyFans. She
divisive.
could have an OnlyFans.
Some of her fellow players supported the attention it brought to the tour. Nancy Lopez was one of them. It brought people to the gates, she said.
Nancy
Others felt
Lopez,
differently,
FYI,
believing
married
the image undermined the athletes competing
a Major
alongside
League
her.
ball player.
But the
What was
real
his
price
name?
Stephenson paid was never
Played for the
about public
Cincinnati
opinion.
Reds. What was
It
his
was
name,
about
everybody?
time.
Help me out.
The one resource every professional
What
athlete
was his
needs
name?
most,
Cincinnati Reds.
and the one she had the least of. While other players spent tournament
Cincinnati
weeks
Reds
practicing
player.
and resting, Stephenson's schedule was filled
Oh,
with
I can
something
see his
else
name
entirely.
right in front of me. I can
I'd
see
be
his
doing
face.
things on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, she
She
admitted.
never took his name, obviously.
The
but
Pro-Am
what was
had
his
to be my
name?
practice time. And how many times in my career I didn't finish off because I was exhausted.
Oh, I could see him.
The
I don't
toll
think he
went
was a
beyond the
great
golf
player,
course.
but I can see
Looking
his
back,
face.
she was wrecked about what the addiction had actually cost
Let me
her.
look it up.
I would have had more friends. It would have been a fun time. By the mid-1980s, Stevenson's body and her schedule
can't remember
were
like
already
all
stretched
this shit.
thin,
You guys gotta help
years
me out.
before anyone would call it a crisis. The bigger collapse had not happened yet, but the foundation for it had already been quietly laid, one exhausting week at a time.
Oh, Ray Knight.
By 1987,
She divorced Ray
Stevenson
Knight.
was
I'm
playing
sorry.
the best golf of her career.
2009. Where
She
have I
was the
been?
tour's leading money
She
winner
married
that
Ed
season,
Russell, 2017.
and heading into the final round of the
Ed
St.
Russell.
Petersburg Classic,
Nancy Lopez is
she held a
69 years
five-stroke
old.
lead.
That's
Then,
it?
before she ever reached the course, a car ran a red light
Jesus.
and crashed directly into hers. The injuries were serious: a head injury, damage to her back, and broken ribs on her left side. Stephenson
Three
tried to
kids,
return to
Ashley, Aaron,
competition
and
almost
Tom.
immediately, before her body had any real chance to heal. It made everything worse. The turning point came a few months later, during an exhibition match
She only
with
won
Jack
3
Nicklaus.
majors.
When Nicklaus realized she was still playing through broken ribs, he told her flatly to withdraw, rest completely, and stay off the course until the pain was gone. Coming from anyone else,
Yeah, this is Nancy Lopez. This is Jan Stevens. But Nancy Lopez only won 3 majors. Are you kidding me? That's it? She won 48 times on the LPGA Tour. She was married to Ray Knight, the Major League ball player, from 82 to 2009. Took 8 years off and then married Ed Russell, whoever Ed Russell is. Good for her. She's 69 years old. I thought she was 80. 48 wins, LPGA, Japanese Tour, 1 win, others 3. She won 3 majors. Women's PGA Championship. They never had Women's PGA Championship. That wasn't a thing. That was something different. What? Best results in wins. Where's it? It doesn't even show up. Women's PGA Championship? That wasn't an event. That wasn't even an event. Women's British Open never played. She never played in the Women's Open. Holy crap. Well, we're learning things here, folks. We're learning things. That's
she likely
okay.
would have ignored it.
That's what
But
we're here
not this
for, to
time.
learn something.
If it
You're
had
here to
been
learn
anyone
golf.
other than Jack Nicklaus,
Something about
I would have
golf.
ignored them, she said. However, when the greatest player of all time said
Look
to
at
rest,
that shot. Look at that
now
balance.
that carried
See her
some punch.
Turning through
She
nicely.
took the advice.
Nothing crazy.
For 2 months, she stepped away from competition entirely, working only on her short game while her body
Only on
recovered.
her short game.
When
I
she
love it.
returned for the final events of the season, she finished second in her first tournament back, then won the next 2. Those 2 wins would turn out to be the final PGA Tour victories of her career. At the time,
I still can't
nobody
believe she's
knew it.
Australian.
Stevenson had just proven her body could absorb a serious
She won
collision
16
and
events.
still come back stronger. It was a lesson that would not hold the next
LPGA
time
Tour.
disaster found
3
her.
majors, just as many as Jan Stevenson. Nancy Lopez, but
In
gets all the
December
credit.
1988, Stevenson's father, Frank, lost his
Women's
battle
Open,
with
the
cancer.
Maria Classic.
He had been more than a parent in her golf career. He had caddied for her during her 2 major championship victories in the early 1980s, and his belief in her had shaped
Her
her from
husband
the
looks
very
a
beginning.
mess.
His death hit her harder than any injury
Oh, he
ever had.
died.
The following year, 1989, became the worst season of her professional career. By the start of 1990, Stephenson appeared ready
Jan
to
is
move
still
forward.
alive. She's 74.
In her first 2 events of the season,
She's
she
from
finished inside
Australia.
the top
She lives in
10
Florida.
both times. For the first time in more than a year, it looked as though her game was coming back. During a week off
Man,
for her
that's
next
crazy.
scheduled tournament in South Florida, she and her husband were invited as guests to a Miami Heat basketball game.
Miami Heat.
Nothing about the evening suggested danger. While parking the car before heading
Oh, no.
inside, Stevenson was suddenly attacked in a brutal mugging.
What?
The damage was severe. Her left hand and ring finger were broken in 5 separate places. Her right shoulder was dislocated in the struggle, thrown into the crowd of people who rushed to help her.
Jesus Christ.
It was one of the most violent injuries a professional golfer could
kidding?
suffer, to the exact hand she needed for every shot she would ever
She got
hit again.
beaten up?
What made
at
the
a
moment
Miami
even
Heat
harder
game?
to accept was what happened around her. Her husband remained inside the car while she was being attacked.
Holy
Shortly
shit.
afterward, Stevenson filed for divorce.
Yeah.
In the weeks
He
that
stayed
followed,
in the car?
she reached out to some of the most respected teachers in the sport.
She was getting attacked at a Miami Heat game in the parking lot, and the husband stayed in the car, let her get her ass kicked, and then she filed for divorce the month later. Good for her. If your girl's getting beaten up, people, go help her, please. Can you do that for me? Can you help her for me, please? Don't let her get beat up. At least go try to help her.
Hoping to find a way back.
Holy shit.
Not one of them believed it was possible. The injuries were considered too severe, too damaging to a hand that required precision most players never had to think about. This was not a slow decline brought on by age or lost form.
Talk.
It was a single night that took away her health, her marriage, and, according to nearly everyone she asked, her chance to ever compete at the highest level again. Nearly everyone told Stephenson her competitive career was finished. Instead of accepting that, she found a golf teacher in Australia named Gary Edwin and began building an entirely new swing around her damaged hand. She had her grips made larger and added padding inside her glove just to hold a club without pain. It was not the same swing that had won 3 majors, but it was enough to keep her playing. When full-time competition was no longer realistic, Stephenson redirected her focus toward golf course design.
She's 74.
Studying turf
FYI.
grass at the University of Georgia and working alongside respected course designers. She became the first female touring professional to build her own golf course design business.
Look at this drill she's doing
She
off
also
the ground.
helped
These
found the
guys,
Legends
copy
Tour,
that. Look at
a
Jan
senior
Stevenson,
circuit for
huh?
women, and continued competing there well into her 50s. Recognition from the sport's
Guys,
biggest
copy that.
institution took
Gotta love
far
her.
longer to
Is it
arrive.
raining out?
Stevenson was passed over for the World Golf Hall of Fame twice, both times learning the news from her close friend, Nancy Lopez. In 2019, Lopez called again. Stephenson braced herself for the same disappointment until
We got some
Lopez
rain up here
finally
in the North
delivered
Shore
different news.
of
She had been voted in. More
Just
recently,
FYI, if
Stephenson
anyone gives a
faced a
shit.
battle far more serious than any injury. She was diagnosed with cancer, and in April of 2024, was told it had returned and
She's
spread
alive.
to her brain.
Who's that
Doctors
guy?
urged immediate radiation treatment.
She robbed the
Her
cradle. That
response
guy's
left
wicked
no
young.
room for negotiation. "You're not touching me." Months later, scans showed the cancer was gone.
Cradles are being
Today,
robbed.
in her 70s, Stephenson still practices for hours at a time.
It's Stephenson?
The night in Miami took her health,
It's been
her
Stevenson
marriage,
my whole life.
and
Now
years
it's
of the
Stephenson?
career she had built. It never took the one thing that defined her from the very beginning. As she put it herself, "I'm still pursuing the perfect golf swing."
I thought it was Stevenson. Now it's Stephenson. Not happy about that, folks. All right, who's next? Who's next on our journey back into history today? Journey into history. Who is this guy? Most insane golfer of all time? We got to see this. The most insane golfer of all time. Now, this is the Legends of the Green channel. Subscribe to them, like them, all that stuff.
Dave Hill was the most accurate ball
Dave
striker
Hill.
of his
Oh,
generation.
his brother was pretty good.
Jack
too.
Nicklaus
What was-
called him one of the 4 best swingers on the entire tour. He won
Dave- oh,
13
this Dave Hill I'm
times.
thinking of.
He
There's
played
two
in
Hills.
3
I forget
Ryder
the other
Cups.
brothers.
He led the tour in scoring average. He was also fined,
Look at those
suspended,
pants.
sued, and nearly thrown out of professional golf by the very organization he represented. The most talented man in the room, the most dangerous man in the room. Same person, same career, same unfiltered mouth.
Remember last week when I talked about Jim King, the hitman golf pro golfer that I've spent in hotel rooms with and played mini golf tournaments with. He loved me, thank God. I've seen him beat up other players, stuff them in lockers, throw their clubs in the water. Jim King. We'll go over him another day again. But I know Dave Hill, but I didn't know Dave Hill was crazy. And that's why we're covering all this stuff, buddy.
This is that story.
I met Dave Hill in the
Dave
early
Hill grew
90s
up in
when he was
Jackson,
100.
Michigan, a small town about 40 miles west of Ann Arbor.
God, I wish we had the
His
internet
father
when I
worked
was a
at the
kid.
post office, picked up shifts at the local factory, and did freelance accounting on the side. His mother raised 6 children. The family also owned a 60-acre farm where the kids tended the vegetable patch, baled hay, and looked after cattle, pigs, and horses. There was nothing glamorous about it. You worked, or things did not get done. By his own account, Dave was not a remarkable child. He was small, quiet, and he stuttered badly all the way through the 8th grade. That made him a target. In his memoir, Teed Off, he wrote, "The other kids picked on me because I stuttered badly."
What the hell is that? Chili. Oh, the dog is having a nightmare. Chili, come on, buddy. Yeah, don't pick on people that have issues with people, all right? Not everybody's perfect. Don't pick on people.
In school until the 8th grade from nervousness. The stuttering made me a terrible loner, which caused the bullies to pick on me all the more. The only person who consistently had his back was his younger brother, Mike, who,
Hill.
despite being the junior, threw a left hook that
I
kept
knew
most
there was
trouble
2.
away. What saved
That's a
Dave
bullseye
was
putter right there.
geography.
See it? Right there. That's a bullseye. Oh, you can't see it. My thing's in the way. Damn it.
The only person who consistently had his back was his younger brother, Mike, who,
Trying to get it so
despite
my
being the
thing's not in the
junior,
way.
threw a left hook that kept most trouble.
Can you see it? Yeah, that's a bullseye putter. Remember those? They're a Cushionit made them. Titleist is a Cushionit company right there. They had a satin shaft and bullseye. They had a flange on some of them, but those were big putters back in the day, the bullseye. For those of you who remember, for those of you who don't, at least
Away.
now you know.
What saved Dave was geography. The family property sat right next to Jackson Country Club.
Ooh.
At 9 years old,
Sneak out
he
on the
started
course.
caddying there under the guidance of his older brother, George. The
Judge.
club pro cut down a set of clubs to fit him.
You got to love it. The club pro helping him out, promoting junior golf. You got to absolutely love it, guys. Absolutely love it.
Monday mornings, caddy day, he played. He had no formal instruction. He learned entirely by watching better players and copying what he saw. That self-taught swing would one day be called one of the finest in professional golf. But first, it would get him into more trouble than anyone on tour had ever seen. Dave Hill turned professional in 1958 at the age of 21.
1958.
Within his first year,
Holy shit.
he won the Michigan Open. By 1961, he had his first PGA Tour victory at Tucson and had already managed to spend nearly half the prize money on fines.
There was no PGA
I
Tour in
paid something like
1958.
$1,400 in fines, most of them for snapping clubs. It cost me $100 per broken club, he later wrote. That $1,400 was almost exactly half of his first place check. Most players celebrated their first tour win. Hill paid a bill. The breaking of clubs was not random frustration. It was a pattern.
We've all broken clubs before, snapped them. If you ever give a shit about golf, you just sometimes just throw them in the pond. Get it out of here. Throw the ball away. Get it out of here. Uh-oh. Notable plays in the field. Aldrich, Podgata, Schaffler, Spieth, Young, Spawn, Fowler, Goddard, Henley, and Wyndham Clark for the Rocket Mortgage coming up.
And the tour warned him
Tomato. But
repeatedly.
we're going back in time, everybody.
Then came November of
We're going back in
1963,
time.
and everything
Let's
got
learn
worse.
something about
His
golf.
father had died earlier that year, and Hill was not in a stable place. At the Frank Sinatra Open Invitational, he was in the middle of one of the worst stretches of his career on the greens. Before playing the final hole, he walked up to tour director.
So people, now we get all, I mean, again, everybody has problems with mental health and stress, anxiety. I get it. I got issues here. We all get it. Back then, they probably didn't. They just said, you're crazy, and, he's got an anger issue or something. I don't know. We're just learning about this all together. But everybody, be nice to people, be kind to people. You never know what people are going through, and even me, when I'm driving, someone cuts me off, I'm pissed off. Who cares? Who cares? Just be nice to people. And we're going to find out about Dave Hill here. Who knows what he's going through? He might have had something now that you could diagnose that you couldn't help back in the
Mr.
60s.
Joe Black and made an announcement. If he missed the birdie, he would break his club. Black told him not to do it. Hill replied, "I just promised myself I would." He missed. He snapped the club clean over his knee on national television after having been warned by an official moments before.
I'm gonna have to start
The
wearing
tour
headphones
suspended him for 2
'cause I
months.
can't hear it.
3 years later, at the Thunderbird Classic, Hill missed the cut badly. On the final hole of his round, his playing partner, Gardner Dickinson, asked
I
what he had
play
made.
golf with him.
Hill
Holy
replied,
shit. He
8
married
or
he married
108.
the LPGA
Dickinson
girl. She
wrote
was like
down 8.
30 and he was
Hill
80.
picked up the pen, added
Gardner Dickinson. Holy shit. He's a Jupiter, Florida guy. He had there's a Gardner Dickinson State Park down there. Wow. Man, where's Garrett? Are you out there, buddy? Garrett helped me out earlier.
a 10 in front of it and signed for a second
God, I
round
play
score
golf
of
with him.
178.
Burt
Two-round total,
Reynolds,
257
Alex Webster of the
strokes.
Giants. He
He
had
was not losing his
restaurant
mind.
in
He
Jupiter.
simply did not care what
Webster's.
anyone thought. And that combination in a
Perry
professional setting
Como.
was
I
going to
playing with
cost
these
him
guys,
everything.
Like nothing. Phil Simms, Bobby Orr.
By the end of
Oh,
1968,
God.
Dave Hill had won 4 times on the PGA Tour. On paper, that looked like a
He
respectable
loves
career,
his mustard pants.
but Hill knew something was wrong. He was burning through opportunities faster than he was collecting them, fined, suspended, and alienating everyone around him. He later told Sports Illustrated, "I was very unhappy or very insulting."
That's back in the day where they had gloves of different colors. I remember FootJoy had all different colors. They had beige, white, green. He's got a brown one on right there. I remember that. They had all different colored gloves. And then what they'd do for the women is the whole glove would be white, but they'd outline it in like for women's colors. Women like the match, I guess. But he's got a black golf club.
Or
on. That is
downright
funny.
nasty.
Absolutely
The
funny.
game did not need my type of personality because I made too many enemies. I knew that. He was not
Looks
injured.
like Oasis
he was not
guy,
broke.
doesn't he?
He
Hold
was
on, go
simply
back.
unraveled because I made too many.
Isn't that Liam Gallagher? Or Noel? Is it Noel or Liam Gallagher? Which one is that? Look at the comb over on this dude. Look at
Enemies.
the comb over.
Knew-
Look at that. Just put a fucking hat on. Right? He's got the comb over. Put a hat on, bro.
that.
Oh, that's funny.
He was not injured. He was not broke. He was simply unraveling, and he could see it happening in real time. Then his wife stepped in, not with an argument, not with an ultimatum. She
The
waited
Masters
until the
wasn't
end of the
covered
year.
on TV till
then quietly-
1956. I think the Masters. So I don't know if that was the first tournament ever covered, but
He moved every single one of his golf clubs
that's
into
Dave
a
Hill in
neighbor's
the Champions
garage.
Tour right there.
Hill came home and found nothing.
That's
No
look at those
clubs,
pants. Look at
no
those pants he's got on.
explanation,
It looks like the bugler.
Just
for
an
the
enforced
band.
silence. He was away from the game for 2 months. Looking back, Hill called it the best thing that
Love
could
it.
have happened to
Absolutely
me.
love it.
The break did not fix his personality. It never would. But it gave him enough distance to return to competition
Oh,
with
God,
something
look at
he had
those
been
shirts.
missing for
Time out. Time out. Time out. Look at these shirts. Which one's worse? Right? Which one is worse? They get no belts on. Those are called Sansa belts back in the day. A lot of companies made them. No belt. You would like tie. There's like a little belt on here. You would pull it over. I'm not going to lie. I think I wore them once in the 80s because I thought I was one of these touring pros. Sansa belts, they were called.
years.
No belt.
A measure of calm. What followed was the best season of his career. In 1969, Hill won 3 tournaments in the space of 6 weeks
Right.
during June and July.
But in our defense, the name of this show is The Most Insane Golfer of All Time. What's he done insane? I thought he'd be whipping clubs, punching people. This
The
guy's
Memphis Open,
he's
the
got a
Buick
mental
Open,
disorder.
and the
And
IVB
that
Philadelphia
sucks.
Open, the
I didn't
last of
mean it
which he
like
claimed
that.
in a
I thought it
playoff.
meant he would like
He
snap
finished
at
second
clubs
on
and
the full season money
punching
list.
people.
He won the Varden Trophy for the lowest scoring average on tour,
Pulling a,
70.3 4-strokes per round.
Who's the guy
And he earned his
on
first
the
Ryder
Buccaneers?
Cup
Brown.
selection.
What was his name?
Jack
Brown.
Nicklaus, at the peak of his
He
own
took- remember he took
dominance,
his equipment off and
acknowledged
ran
that
off the
Hill
field
had
with
one
no
of the
shirt
4
on.
best swings on the entire tour. This
Played
was
for the
what Dave
Patriots. He
Hill
played for
looked
the
like when he
Steelers,
got out of
something
his own
Brown.
way. The talent
I love
had
the Wilson.
always
That's Dave
been
Hill
there.
with the Wilson hat.
The
That's
question
Dave
was
Hill
never
I
whether
remember
he
from
could
the senior
play.
tour back in
The
the 80s
question
and
was
90s.
always whether he would let himself.
You know, that's a Dave Hill.
In
I
the summer of
remember.
1970, the U.S. Open came to Hazeltine National
I was
Golf
just going to
Club
say
in
that's
Minnesota.
Hazeltine,
The course
Minnesota.
was only 8 years old at the time. A Robert Trent Jones
That's
design
that
built on
Bobby
flat
Jones right
farmland
there. Holy
outside
shit.
Minneapolis, still growing in, with blind shots and awkward rooting
Nice hat.
that most of the field quietly disliked. Quietly being the key word. Most players kept their opinions inside the locker room. Dave Hill
Look at those
was not
pants.
most players.
Holy crap!
After a strong second round put him near the
That guy
top
got
of the
jeans on.
leaderboard, the press requested
The
comments.
caddy had jeans on.
Hill declined and went to the bar instead. By the time they asked again, he had worked through 4 or 5 vodka tonics on an empty stomach. He went. The first question was about the golf course. "I'm still looking for it," he said. He did not stop there. He told reporters that Robert Trent Jones had ruined a perfectly good piece of farmland. He said the course lacked only 80 acres of corn and a few cows to be exactly what it was before anyone built anything on it. He said Jones must have had
Bobby
his
Jones's
blueprints
kid.
upside
I
down.
apologize. Not
And
Bobby
then,
Jones, but
perhaps the most
his kid.
remarkable detail of the entire week, Hill announced that he had already arranged to borrow a tractor from a nearby farmer. If he won the tournament, he planned to ride it out onto the course during the trophy
This will
ceremony.
put you to sleep at night too,
The
though.
PGA
Huh?
Tour fined him
Peter Kessel's the announcer.
$150
He's a
for,
legend.
in their words,
But fuck, I'm
criticism
ready to fall
that
asleep.
tends to ridicule and demean the club. The members of Hazeltine had a different response. They
The
mooed
name of
at
this
him.
video is most
Throughout all
insane
4
golfer of
rounds,
all
when-
time. I've done way more insane shit than this guy has. Way more.
Whenever Hill walked onto a hole,
I didn't wear
sections of the
outfits like
gallery
that.
mooed and
Thank
rang
God.
cowbells.
They had the white
The
belt.
sounds
going, though,
followed
back
him
in
around the
70s,
course for
right?
the entire week.
Remember they did that
and
in
then
the early
followed him to
2000s?
other
Everyone had the
tournaments
white
for
belt
years
going. Even
afterward.
I did. I wore
Hill
that
finished
white
the
belt.
week
Know some
in
of those
second
videos
place,
on
7
the swing
strokes
tips I'm
behind
giving,
Tony
you can see the
Jacklin.
white belt.
He did not apologize.
Oh, that's,
Years later, reflecting on the whole
was,
episode, he wrote, "I'm sure I could have been more discreet
Tony
in my
Jacklin.
remarks to the press.
I used to know
I
Tony
never said
Jacklin's
anything
kid.
at Hazeltine that wasn't an
What
answer
was his
to a
first
newsman's
name? He was a
question.
superintendent
And
in
for
the
that,
golf business
I was
in West
crucified.
Palm Beach.
What Hill always
Tony
maintained,
Jacklin's
and what
kid.
made the story more complicated
Good
than it
dude.
first appeared, was that he was
That
not
guy's
saying
got jeans on
anything
again.
the other players were not already
This is
saying
terrible. I
privately.
thought these videos would be
His brother
better,
Mike
guys. I
confirmed it years
apologize.
later. What he said
Maybe
about
I have to do a
Hazeltine was the absolute, honest-to-God
deep dive
truth.
into it.
Players like Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player
Gary
sat in the
Player
locker
right
room and
there.
laughed. They knew it was true, but because of them not wanting to be involved, they would never say it.
Who knows?
Hazeltine was eventually redesigned from the ground up before it was trusted to host another men's major in 1991. The course that exists today is considered one of the finest in the United States. Dave Hill was right. He was just the only one who said it out loud. In the summer of 1971, Dave Hill arrived
got
at the
that bullseye
Colonial
putter,
National
guys. You see
Invitation in
that?
Fort Worth, playing some of the worst golf of his career.
It definitely looks like
By
Noel
the end of
Gallagher
Friday's
on the
round,
laces.
he had shot 77 and 85 and was hopelessly out of the
With the
tournament.
black glove on.
Walking toward his drive on the final hole, he
His
decided
shoes-
he had seen
his
enough.
Shoes back then? Look at the shoes back there. I can't zoom in on that. But the shoes had these little things over the laces right here. They're called kilties. You can see them there, right? So they covered your laces. It's like a fashion thing. He has them on this one too. Kilties. They got rid of them in the 80s.
In the
See
summer
right
of
there? These
1971,
kilties right here. These things right here. It was like a thing that went over your laces. I don't know what they did, but they were called kilties right there. And they covered the golf shoe. The
One,
laces of the golf shoe.
Dave Hill arrived at the Colonial National
Yeah,
Invitation
those were a
in
big
Fort
thing, 'cause I
Worth,
remember my parents
playing some of the
wearing them and all
worst
that.
golf of his career.
I don't think
By the end of
I was-
Friday's round, he had shot 77 and
playing,
85
obviously,
and
we
was
didn't wear those.
hopelessly out of the tournament.
See
Walking
the
toward his
kilties
drive
right
on
there
the
over his
final
shoes
hole,
right there?
he decided he had seen enough. He played the last few holes with
Kilties.
only his 9-iron. When his
And the
approach
ladies
left
would
him in a
put their
greenside
ball
bunker
markers
with
in
an
them, so
ugly
when they bent
lie,
over,
Hill picked the
they
ball
reached
up with
for
his
the
hand,
kiltie, took the ball
walked it
mark
onto the
over and
green,
put it down.
and
So
tapped
now
in.
they put him on the
He then
visor.
signed an incorrect scorecard and disqualified himself. The tour
But this
fined
is
him
coming back, too. I
$500
don't
for
have it here.
conduct unbecoming
The
a
rope
professional
here, a lot of
golfer
them had the rope
and told him
and
the fine
hat.
had to be paid before he
I
could
don't
tee it
have
up
one on
the
my hands
following
here
week.
that has the rope, but
Hill
those
paid
are
it.
making a comeback.
Then he
too.
filed a $1 million antitrust lawsuit against the PGA Tour. The
Which you
tour
gotta
responded
love.
by
You
placing
gotta
him
love
on
it. Old
probation
school
for
golf,
1 year.
Nothing wrong with that, guys.
Hill
Nothing wrong with
responded by raising his damages claim to
that.
$3
I
million.
apologize for this video. It said
At
most
the center of
insane
his
golfer.
argument was
I was
something he had
expecting
believed for years,
not
that the
Noel
tour
Gallagher
applied its
there, but
rules selectively
some
depending on
crazy
who you
guy
were.
snapping clubs,
He said it plainly.
swearing, like John
I
McEnroe
firmly
type
believe
thing.
there is prejudice in applying the rules and regulations of the tour and fining people.
There's no
The
hope.
rules aren't the same for Dave Hill or Ray Floyd
Hey, Raymond.
as they are for Jack Nicklaus or Arnold
Jack and
Palmer.
Arnie.
If you're a big name, you're protected when you have a little temper tantrum. The lawsuit
shit.
dragged on
That's
for
with every
months
sport.
before
I mean,
both
come on,
sides settled
you know
out of
that.
court.
That's with every
Hill
sport,
later
guys.
reflected,
Every sport you're
I
protected.
really think I could have won the suit, but I didn't want it on my mind anymore.
Look,
I'm
you
a
stayed
golfer,
back behind
not
it.
a
Even
political
back in the
rabble-rouser.
70s, They did it right.
But
You
the
gotta love
settlement
it.
was not nothing. Hill
Look at
walked
this
away,
guy's outfit.
having
He looks like
secured
a Disney
11
boat,
specific concessions from the tour,
captain.
including the establishment of a clearer, more consistent
No offense
system
against Disney.
for
I
how
love
fines
Disney,
were
but that
applied
guy looked like a
across the
Disney boat
entire
captain.
field. Every player who came
Love
after
it.
him
Absolutely
benefited
love it,
from
guys.
that fight. Most of them never knew his name was behind it. After the lawsuit settled, Hill won
Boring
6 more
video.
times
What a
across the
boring
rest of
video.
the 1970s. One of those victories came at the
Thought we'd get
Houston
the
Open in
Rocket Mortgage
1974,
starting tomorrow, guys.
a
We're gonna
tournament
watch
he
that.
entered
We'll
publicly,
cover it. Go
stating
get
he
golf
was there
swings.
to get even with the Houston Golf Association after they had refused to let him withdraw the pand previous year. He shot a final round of 65 and won by a stroke. Then he told the press he disliked talking to them. But the wins were becoming harder to sustain. The fines, the
I
suspensions,
can't wait till this
the
video's
feuds,
over. I apologize.
they had
but I'm sure
accumulated
some of
into
yous like
something
it, but this
heavier
guy's
than
brutal.
any one incident.
Most insane
By the late
golfer of all time.
1970s, Hill
I mean,
had
talk
largely
about
disappeared
clickbait,
from the
right?
PGA Tour,
I
not because
did
of
way
injury,
worse shit than this
not
guy
because the talent had gone.
did. Way worse.
His brother Mike later said the bad temper and the confrontations
What has
had
he
simply
done with the
worn
bad
the game
temper?
down for him.
That's
He
the
was
master.
gone for nearly 9 years.
He kicked ass on the
In
Champions Tour, though.
1987,
Tour
at
back
the
then.
age of 50,
There he is.
Dave Hill walked onto the senior PGA Tour.
Yep.
He won that same year.
Yep.
He won 3 more times in 1988 and twice more in 1989. 6 senior tour titles in 3 years from a man who had been absent from competitive golf for nearly
His
a
brother
decade.
Mike, I think, won
And
more.
still, he had not finished making headlines.
I think.
At a practice session before the 1991 Transamerica Senior Championship,
I think
Hill was working at one end of the driving range when J.C. Snead began hitting shots from the other end. The balls repeatedly rolling into Hill's area. Hill shouted warnings. Snead kept going. Hill picked up a club and charged at him. The two men threw punches, wrestled each other to the ground, and had to be physically separated by caddies and fellow players.
yeah,
Dave
I
Hill
knew Mike Hill was better on the
54
senior
years
tour.
old. Some people mellow with age. Hill was simply not built that way. Dave Hill finished his career with 13 PGA Tour victories, 6 senior tour titles, 3 Ryder Cup appearances, and the Varden Trophy.
Wow,
He
that's
never
pretty
won a
good.
major. His brother Mike said that was the one thing that never left
Mike
him.
was better as
His
they got
biggest
older.
disappointment
No doubt.
was not winning the U.S. Open like he felt he should have. In
Alrose Steele.
1977, he published Teed Off alongside Golf Digest editor Nick Seitz. In it, he evaluated his fellow professionals one by one with the same candor he had applied to everything else.
Wow.
On the state of the modern touring pro, he wrote, "The average touring golf pro today is living off the fat of the land and thinks the world owes him $200,000 a year.
200.
Most pros couldn't do anything else for a living,
Imagine
but they
that.
always have their hands out looking for a freebie.
This is back in the
Instead
80s,
of saying
guys.
thank you, they want to know what time the next plane is leaving. Nobody was spared. Nobody was softened.
Crazy.
What the book also revealed, underneath all the sharpness, was a man who understood the game
Tom
at a deep
Wargo.
level
That's Tom
and had
Wargo.
thought carefully about it for his entire life.
Oh my God, we have
One
so
line
many
in
great
particular stayed with
stories
readers
coming
long
up.
after the controversies
Tom
faded.
Wargo.
The golf
Jim
swing is like
Albus.
sex. You can't be thinking about the mechanics of the act while you are performing. Dave Hill died in September of 2011 in Jackson, Michigan, the same town where he had grown up beside a golf course, learned to swing by watching strangers, and decided somewhere
His
along the
brother was
way
better when they got
that
older.
honesty
Mike
was
Hill.
worth more than comfort. Ron Berman, the golf professional at the Country Club of Jackson, put it simply, he is Jackson Golf as far as I'm
Wow.
concerned.
Good. That's
You
tough,
go
huh?
anywhere in my world and tell somebody you're from Jackson, and 9 of 10
Yeah,
people
his
will
brother
ask
Mike
you,
did better on the
isn't that where
Champions
Dave
Tour.
and Mike Hill are
I know
from?
Mike played a lot with
13
Mike.
wins, 0 majors,
I didn't.
1
Again,
lawsuit,
this video says
0
the craziest
apologies.
golfer of golf
There's
of
never
all
been
time.
enough.
That's nuts. I don't. He most insane golfer of all time. That's crazy. But yeah, we're gonna deep dive. Not today, but in the future. Maybe every Wednesday. We're gonna do a old school golfer, Jim Albus, all these guys that just legends of the game that nobody's heard of, and just history of the game, and learn something about the history of the game. Again, that video is a little misleading with craziest golfer of all time, but there's so many things you can watch and learn from it. And, you know, I want to do something with golf architecture and different courses and the way they're set up, how holes are set up, something different. Obviously, golf instruction and, you know, golf swing stuff, but people need to learn the history of the game and learn it. You know, it's so. I mean, Alan Doyle, Nancy Lopez. I mean, it's so many different people. Never heard of these people, and they're legends of the game. You know, absolute legends of the game. You know what I mean, my friends? All right, let's do one more here real quick. Most disrespected major winner in history. Let's find out about this guy. Is that Hubert Green?
Names today on a stage where almost everyone around him collapsed. He holds a record that no golfer has broken in over 5 decades. He beat legends who are still
Legends.
household
You gotta
names
love the
today
legends, everybody.
on a stage where almost everyone around him
Got to
collapsed.
love the legends.
By every measure, he should be remembered as one of the toughest champions in golf history. Yet mention his name to most fans, and you will get a blank stare. The greater his achievement grew with time, the smaller his name became
Love it.
in
Don't
memory.
forget to hit that like button.
This is
for
the
me. Go right now,
strange,
everybody. Just
quiet
go.
story of Lou Graham.
Whoever's out there, hit that like, share, subscribe for me, please. We gotta grow
Lou
the
Graham
channel,
was born in
everybody. We
Nashville,
gotta grow it.
Tennessee on the 7th of January, 1938. He picked up a golf club for the first time at 7 years old in a city that would remain his home for the rest of his life. Golf did not come easily to him. 3 years into playing, still just a child, he entered his first 18-hole tournament and shot 113. It was a humiliating number for a boy who thought he already understood the game. Decades later, he still remembered the sting of that afternoon. I was so mad about it, he said, and I tell people I am still mad about it today. That anger became fuel. By his teenage years, he was leading Father Ryan High School to a state championship, then winning the individual Tennessee title as well. His game earned him a golf scholarship to Memphis State University, where he played for 3 years and quietly built the fundamentals that would carry him through a professional career decades long. His talent was already turning heads by then. In 1958, still just a college freshman, he made his first appearance in a PGA Tour event years before he would even consider himself a professional. Then his path changed direction entirely. After 3 years of college, Graham was drafted into the United States Army. He did not spend his service on a base golf course. He was assigned to the Old Guard, the ceremonial unit that stands watch over the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. For roughly 3 years, his job was not to swing a club, but to stand motionless, precise, and silent, regardless of weather, fatigue, or distraction. After leaving the Army, Graham joined the PGA Tour in October of 1964. There was no explosive debut, no overnight stardom. He spent 3 full years grinding through events before his first victory finally arrived at the Minnesota Golf Classic in 1960.
This is a great story of a guy who started late in his career, late in his life, excuse me, and just never gave up. Nowadays, it's different because everybody starts when they're 5 years old. They're playing in junior tournaments, all this and that. But not that it can't be done, but you just got to keep working on it.
7. It was the kind of win that barely registered outside golf circles, and that pattern would repeat itself for years. Graham was not a long hitter, and he was not chasing headlines. His game was built on accuracy off the tee and steady iron play, the unglamorous tools of a man who understood that most tournaments are lost through mistakes rather than won through brilliance. If you try to fight the course, he liked to say, it will beat you. The following year brought a setback. In 1968, a thumb injury forced him to withdraw from the Western Open, a reminder that even a career built on steadiness was not immune to bad luck. 5 years passed before his second tour win came at the Liggett & Myers Open in 1972, a playoff victory over a small group of contenders. By most standards, this was a respectable but unremarkable career. 2 wins in 8 years on tour, no major championships, no signature rivalry, and no media narrative attached to his name. Nobody outside his inner circle expected Graham to contend for a major championship. He was simply a steady professional, a name buried in the middle of the leaderboard more often than not. That anonymity was about to be shattered in the most unlikely way imaginable.
Leave a comment. If you hate me, just leave a comment.
By the spring of 1975, Graham was not playing well. Days before traveling to the national championship at Medina Country Club, he admitted to a reporter that he had no business going to the U.S. Open that week and playing a difficult course like that one.
You know, I want to get that guy's outfit. Sorry.
It was not false modesty. He genuinely believed he had little chance.
Well, just so you know, this is Legends of the Green channel. Peter Kessler is the announcer. He's a legend from the... Why is that doing that? How do I get that up?
The tournament began exactly as he feared. Graham opened with a 74, 7 strokes behind the leaders. His second round...
But yeah, people don't realize the legends of the game and people that came before us that were just so great and started all this, you know. It's so important to respect them and honor them, you know. So we're going to do that.
Was little better. A 72 that left him 11 strokes off the pace and buried in 40th place on the leaderboard. At that point, nobody, including Graham himself, considered him a contender. The tournament belonged to the biggest names in the sport. Then something shifted. A third round of 68 pulled him within 4 strokes of the lead, quietly climbing back into relevance while the golfing world still had its eyes fixed elsewhere. On the final Sunday, the leaders began to fall apart under the pressure of the course. Frank Beard, the overnight leader, failed to make a single birdie all day. Jack Nicklaus, chasing a 4th national championship, bogeyed his final 3 holes after briefly sharing the lead. Tom Watson, who had led after the opening round, played the last 36 holes, 20 strokes worse than his first 2. While the favorites collapsed, Graham simply kept playing his own game, steady, patient, unspectacular. When the dust settled after 72 holes, no player in the field had finished the tournament under par. Graham was tied for the lead with John Mahaffey.
Please like, subscribe, share it. I'm trying to grow the channel. I'm trying to make this a golf channel where you can participate, talk back. We're going to have call-in shows. I've got awesome guests for my podcast, which is called One Foot in the Rough, patented, trademarked, and all that shit. So don't try to steal it from me because I'll be mad. You can't steal it. It's already patented and all that. But trademark. Let's see if I can find the logo. Tell me if you think this logo is good or bad. Where did I do with it? One Foot in the Rough. Trying to have a different name than everyone else's. Where'd it go? Oh, I can't find it. I swear I saved it. But yeah, you know, we're trying to grow the channel. We was demonetized for a couple years, so I gave up on it. I stopped live streaming and stopped doing it, and now we're getting back to it. So we got almost 11,000 subscribers. So subscribe, hit the notification button, all that stuff, so you know when we're doing these cool shit with what the hell did I do with it? Maybe I didn't subscribe. Maybe I didn't. I thought I saved it. You know, so I want you all here. Where's 1 foot in the rough? Come on, baby. Come on, Bob. Oh, I did save it. You know, so we're trying to grow the game of golf, which we love, but we're also trying to educate people on what happened before you got here, you know? Things like that. It's not that complicated. Oh, I see where I put it. Is this the right one? Yeah. All right. So this is my logo for the podcast. 1 foot in the rough. If you don't know what that means, you'll know that in 2 seconds here. See that? So you go to the back of the tee, farthest back tee box, and you have 1 foot where they don't cut the tee and 1 foot on where they cut the tee. And that's me pounding it right there. Boom. 1 foot in the rough. So that's the name of the podcast. These are live shows. They're different, and you're going to see some great guests on here, and it's just going to be fantastic. So hit that notification button.
Forcing an 18-hole playoff the following day. In that playoff, Graham shot an even par 71 against Mahaffey's 73, sealing the biggest surprise finish of his career. My goal was to play for pars, he explained afterward.
Always busy doing
I know when I do that, I will get a birdie or two. Throughout the final round in the playoff, he later admitted his approach was almost defiantly simple. I kept telling myself, this is not the Open you are playing, he said. It is just another round of golf. I did not put pressure on myself. I put the Open out of my mind.
So yeah.
The final numbers told an extraordinary story. Graham had trailed the leader by 11 strokes after 36 holes and still walked away with the trophy. The largest 36-hole comeback in the history of the U.S. Open, a record that has never been broken. To understand how remarkable that number truly is, consider the golfer most associated with dramatic U.S. Open comebacks. Arnold Palmer, whose 7-stroke rally in the final round of 1960 is still treated as the gold standard of clutch golf. Graham's deficit was almost twice as large, and he did not erase it in one charging round. He did it quietly, over 2 days, without anyone paying much attention until it was already done. He walked away from Medina with $40,000 and a national championship. What he could not have known yet was that this triumph, remarkable as it was, would almost immediately begin fading into the background of golf history. Graham's victory at Medina should have been one of the great triumphs in championship golf. Instead, it became a footnote to somebody else's collapse. The 1975 U.S. Open is remembered for Frank Beard, who could not make a single birdie on the final day, for Jack Nicklaus, whose late bogeys cost him.
Hey, that's Tom Watson right there. But Peter Kessler's the one talking. His channel is Legends of the Green. Subscribe to that, like that. They seem like good people. Hopefully they won't give me any YouTube strikes or anything crazy like that. So check them out.
A 4th national title.
Again, I will be leaving
and for Tom Watson,
10 minutes,
who played the
to
weekend
gym with
20
my lovely
strokes worse
daughter.
than his opening 2
And
rounds.
again, I hope to come back on.
The headlines went to the men who lost the tournament, not the one who won it. There was also something inconvenient about how Graham
maybe
won.
4 or 5 o'clock. Or
He
something
finished
like that.
all
Just get back
72
on
holes
and
without a single
try to find
round
different
under
crowds.
par.
So I'm trying to grow
The
my
first
channel.
time that had happened in the tournament's entire post-war era. A modern
Go at
comparison
different
makes
times
the
of day
point
to find
sharper.
different types of
Recent
golfers,
major
'cause YouTube is
champions
a
often
fickle
win by
page.
shattering scoring
We
records.
need YouTube to
Posting
spread us out
rounds
more
so
to
far
YouTube.
under
Get us
par,
out to more
the
people.
tournament feels decided by Saturday. Against that standard, a champion
I
who
love the
never
tip of the
dipped below
cap. I love
par,
it. Look at the
looks
Amana hat. That's an
unremarkable
Amana
on
hat
paper.
right there. I had one of those because my dad was in the golf business, right, guys? The hat's too big for him, obviously, but that's an Amana. They made like refrigerators and dishwashers back in the day. Amana. They were a big sponsor of the tour back in the day. Amana. That's Izod. He's got on for a shirt there, but Amana cap. When I got one of those when I was a kid, my dad got one for me somewhere. I was so happy because I wanted to be a tour pro, you know?
The years
Wore what the
after,
pros wore. I had
Medina were
Amana
not
hat,
kind to Graham.
shaft bag,
What had felt like a life-changing payday
wear with
quickly
the
turned
penguin
into a
shirt.
memory as his form
Beautiful.
disappeared. For 4 full years, he
Absolutely
could not find
beautiful.
another win anywhere on tour. The gap became so stark that by 1977, when he finally broke through again in Philadelphia, his entire year's earnings amounted to just $20,000, half of what he had won for a single national championship 2 years earlier. That same year brought a painful near miss. Graham finished runner-up at the U.S. Open, losing by a single stroke to Hubert Green at a course in Oklahoma. It was proof that his game had not disappeared entirely, but proof of a loss is a strange kind of consolation. Then, in 1979, everything turned around at
I love
once.
that hat.
In the span of just 71 days, Graham won 3
Sansa belt
tournaments.
right there. See, there's no belt, right? It was like you pulled this thing across and hooked
A
it
stretch-
to oh shit. See, same thing here. No belt, Amana. They had these weird pockets. I mean, not Amana hat, but these were called Sansa belts.
So
Absolutely
unexpected
wonderful.
that Golf Digest named him their comeback player of the year. Part of the explanation was almost comically simple. Graham later admitted that new clubs had made a real difference
Imagine
after
playing with these
17
clubs
years
they're
of
wearing. They're using not
playing
wearing
with the same worn set. The 9
leather
iron was so worn,
grips, steel shaft. Never mind back in the day where they had wooden shafts and wooden club heads, but these guys were
he
playing.
said that the bottom scoring line was not even there anymore. No matter how good an iron shot I hit, it seemed I could not get the ball close to the hole. With new equipment and renewed confidence, each win came easier than the last. Winning that second tournament was easier than winning in Philadelphia, he said, and winning the third one was a lot easier still because I had already won twice. By this stage of his career, Graham had also represented his country on 3 Ryder Cup teams and helped the United States capture the World Cup in 1975. His resume, quietly, had become one of the most complete in the sport. Away from the golf course, Graham was exactly the kind of person his playing style suggested. Calm, humble, and almost allergic to attention. He was not the type.
Look at that. The wooden head, tiny. I don't know if that's a driver. It probably is. There's a sole plate. So you had to screw the sole plate onto the wood, right? And then on the face of it, they had these insert. You had to screw them in. That's what hitting it on the screws means. There were screws in the face. Oh, I gotta find a wooden club. I gotta find a wooden club. We can talk about
To
that.
raise his voice after a bad shot or celebrate loudly after a good one. People who spent time around him consistently used the same word to describe him: gentle. Dick Horton, a longtime figure in Tennessee Golf Administration, put it plainly: Lou Graham is right there at the top of the gentlemen golfers that we have ever been blessed with in Tennessee, he said.
David Graham.
Anybody that ever met Lou became a friend or an admirer. His character, his personality, and his golf game were exceptional. He was a man of deep faith.
For sure.
His family remained the quiet center of his life throughout his career. His wife, Patsy, and their 2 daughters, Luann and Phil, were regularly by his side at tournaments, including the celebration at Medina after his national championship win. Away from cameras, Patsy was known and respected among the other wives on tour, described by those who knew her simply as a good and supportive presence behind a demanding career. Graham never fully walked away from the game. Even decades after his competitive career wound down, he continued playing twice a week at courses around Nashville that had themselves hosted national champions. In an interview when he was 77 years old, he summed up his relationship with the sport in one dry line: "I can still shoot my age," he said, sometimes. He had also put his own thinking on the game into words years earlier, publishing an instructional book called Mastering Golf in 1978 aimed at passing on the same discipline that had carried his own career. His contribution to golf did not end with his own scorecard. In his later years, Graham dedicated time to mentoring military veterans through a program supporting golf for those who had served, a cause that connected directly back to his own years in the Army decades earlier. He also became a charter member of the Tennessee Golf Hall of Fame, an honor recognizing a career built almost entirely without controversy or noise. Whit Turnbow, president of the Tennessee Golf Foundation, later offered a summary that captured how those closest to the game saw him. Lou Graham represented everything great about the game of golf, he said. His legacy will live on not only through his championship career, but also through the countless lives he inspired.
Look at those outfits. Look at that shirt, that green shirt with that outfit.
Lou
That's
Graham
great.
died on the 11th of May,
Oh, that
2026,
stinks.
at the age of 88. Most headlines needed to remind
Yeah, I got
readers who
demonetized
he
for
actually
showing
was,
PGA Tour events
decades
without
after his
fair
name had
using it.
quietly
That's
slipped
why I
out of.
stop this every once in a while and talk about it. I got in trouble, so they took all my memberships away, super chats, all that gone. So that's why we use Venmo. If anyone wants to send me a couple bucks to feed the kids, it's appreciated, obviously. But we'll be back monetized soon. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We're getting
The
it back
sport's
with your
everyday
help. I need your help
conversation.
to share it, like
Even
it,
so,
all that.
his hometown
So
had
keep
not
that going,
entirely
please.
let him go. Just a year before his death,
Want online instruction,
Nashville's
Tom
own
Gillis at
newspaper named him one of the
PGA.com.
50 greatest athletes in the city's history. A small sign that the place he never.
You will get a detailed video from front, back, down the line, your grip, everything on how to improve your swing, how to practice, what to practice, everything for $40. In person, it's $150. Find all these other teachers are charging you a fortune online too. I charge you $40 for the initial evaluation, and it's $40 forever. So in another month, you want another one?
Left still remembered what the rest of the
I'm not
sport
trying to
had
rob
forgotten.
anybody. We're trying
Perhaps
to just
that quiet ending was always
help
the
you play
price of
better
the way he
golf and
played
help me
and the
feed
way he
the
lived.
kids.
No
It's that
theatrics,
simple.
no controversy, no dramatic collapse or redemption arc for the cameras to replay for the next 50 years. Just a disciplined man who trusted his training, refused to fall apart when others did, and quietly
that's
walked
Bob
away
Bye.
with the trophy anyway. There is a certain irony in that. The very qualities that made Lou
Bob
Graham one of the
Bosky.
toughest
All right,
competitors of
folks,
his
let's
era,
wrap it up.
his humility, his composure.
Let's wrap it up. All right. I'm going to run to the gym with the lovely daughter. So hopefully, again, I'll be back. I know I have an appointment at 3:30. So again, I'm going to try to do tonight, 7 o'clock, talk more golf and all that stuff. And just try to get you guys to play better golf, be more educated on golf and everything golf, everything we do to help you play better golf, understand the game we watch, who's the best player, who's the worst player, what's the best clubs, what's the best shafts, all that stuff. That's my goal with this channel that we're restarting after 2 years of hiatus. So I got demonetized back in 2024. I gave up on it. I stopped doing videos. That's why there's nobody here watching, because nobody knows we're doing it. So I need your help to share it, like, subscribe, keep watching, all that stuff. I really appreciate it, guys. Okay. I really do. And it takes a village to do it. And I'll be back again. Definitely. What's today? Wednesday? Yeah. We'll do something tonight. Maybe 7 o'clock, couple hours, talk some golf swings. I'll put Jackson Coyven back on and Ryan Fox's swing, and you can learn from that. If you want your swing evaluated, Tom Gillis at PGA.com. Email me. I can help you out. You'll love it. Trust me. Ask the people who've taken lessons from me. They get better fast. So thanks for the support. Like, subscribe, and I will keep grinding, man. We're not going away. Keep grinding. Watch the videos if you want. I got drills on there. Everything to help your golf game get any better. So it's pouring raining up here in the North Shore of Massachusetts. I'm going to the gym right now and trying to get stronger, faster, better. More videos coming. You're going to love it. History of the game videos, all types of stuff that golf fanatics want. And that's what I want here is golf fanatics. I'll take anybody, obviously, but golf fanatics is number one. So keep in the fairway, my friends.